definitely a hit and miss proposition with those kind of numbers. Again, 59 hits allowed in 55 innings and 26 walks in those 55 and a third. Huskies, again, losing 5-2 in the ball game on Friday, and then yesterday just a disastrous middle innings as they lose by a final of 11-6. So Washington coming into the game right now just trying to salvage one of these three. They come in at 3-11 in the Pac-10. The Cougars at 5-12 in Pac-10 play. Huskies will play today's ball game in the all grays, tops and bottom, that classic road uniform with a purple letter number, socks and ball cap. Cougars will play today in the crimson tops and the cream-colored pants with the pinstripes and, of course, the crimson socks and crimson ball cap. It's the third and final game here on the Apple Cup of the Baseball Diamond. Home plate umpire Larry Randall today. Randy Sutton will be making the calls down at first base, and Joe Maiden over at third base. This will be one of two straight on the road for the Huskies in Pac-10 play. They'll be at Sunken Diamond in Palo Alto against Stanford next weekend. But, of course, first things first, it's the Dogs and the Cougs from Pullman here in the finale. So Brendan Gardner-Young will dig in.
Center fielder number 37, Brendan Gardner-Young.
Gardner-Young, 2 for 6 in yesterday's loss with a couple of runs batted in. GY hitting from the left side, and again, the Husky lineup will have a lot of left-handers in there against the right-hander, James Wise. Wise ready to go into the wind, and the first pitch of the day is on the way, and it's a strike on the outside corner, and we are underway. May 1st, gorgeous skies, just a little fluttering of a breeze, but nothing that should impact the flight of a ball for now. Here's the 0-1 on the way, and that's a cutter that hits the outside corner. Strike 2. Quickly, no balls, 2 strikes on the Husky leadoff hitter, Gardner-Young. We had some pretty substantial wins in each of the first 2 games. Here's the 0-2 on the way, and that's down low. Both times it was blowing out to right, and it was a pretty stiff breeze. It certainly affected the carry of the ball to that side of the park here at Bailey Brayton Field, but you can't say that today. The flags are fluttering a little bit toward the line, but that's it. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Trying to climb the ladder on a high fastball, and Gardner-Young goes down swinging. So 1 down here in the top of the first. They're expecting temperatures today right around 60 degrees here in Pullman.
Number 40, Joe Meggs.
Joe Meggs is the hitter, and he has been outstanding at the plate in this series. 3 for 4 on Friday night, 3 for 5 with a run batted in yesterday's game. Standing in from the right side, his average all the way up to 352 on the season as the first pitch is a slider to Meggs, and it's down and away. In addition, Meggs boosting his Pac-10 average to over 300. He's now hitting 315 in 14 conference games so far. Wise behind a ball and a strike, or no strikes, and here's the pitch on the way, and again lined into center field for a base hit. Boy, it has been a difficult proposition for the Cougars to get Joe Meggs out. Another base hit for Meggs. That is his 7th hit of this series as he 1-out singles right back up the middle, and the Huskies will have a runner on, the first base runner of the game here in the top of the first. Not trying to do a whole lot. He has been up the middle, up the middle, up the middle, just consistently all series long, and he's on at first base with just 1 down. So that'll bring up Jacob Lamb, the second baseman. Lamb hitting from the left side, and Wise pitching out of the stretch for the first time, and the pitch on the way is on the outside corner, strike 1. A fastball clocked at 88 miles per hour. They've got the radar gun on the new scoreboard here beyond the left center field fence. And a lot of nice improvements here at Bailey Brayton Field, again, selfishly, among chief of which are the press box facilities here in Pullman. Here's the 0-1 on the way, and that's outside. The count evens 1 ball, 1 strike. Get my own booth. I have the heater if need be. Probably won't need it today. And it is a far cry in terms of being a difficult place to broadcast. Some of these venues are on the road. Here's the stretch in the 1-1, and that's lifted foul up and out of play. And this used to be difficult depending on the weather. There were times where we were outside in the elements under just a little bit of an awning, but that was about it. But comfortable, good vantage point here, closer to the plate, more centrally located. Enough about the press box. There's a ball game going on. 1 on, 1 out, top of the first. 1-2 count to Lamb. Here's the stretch by Wise, and the pitch on the way, and that's lifted down a left field line. Going to be a long run, tailing in foul territory, and a sliding attempt, ball bouncing foul. Nice effort by Clausen, who had to go a long way in foul territory, but it'll bounce up off the field turf surface and over into the Cougar bullpen down the left field line. The count stays a ball and 2 strikes. Jay Ponciano behind the plate defensively for Washington State. Matt Argyropoulos at third. It'll be Trace Tam Singh at short today, and Cody Bartlett will shift over to second. Taylor Ard at first, around the infield left to right for the Cougars. And then it's Clausen in left. Kyle Johnson will be starting in center today, and Derek Jones, a slugger, over in right defensively for Washington State. Meggs still leading off the bag at first. A 1-2 count, a turn and a throw to first, and Meggs diving back to the bag. Jacob Lamb, a .340 average on the year, 2 home runs, and a team-high 21 batted in. We're just underway, 1 on, 1 out for the Dogs here in the top of the first. Wise out of the stretch, standing on the third base side of that rubber with that back foot. Now turning another throw to first, and Meggs is back to the bag. Huskies, again, dropping a decision 5-2 on Friday. They had a ton of chances early. And then dropping yesterday a decision 11-6, or as Lindsey Meggs alluded to, they got way too much of the strike zone with a lot of their pitches. Here's the 1-2, and that's a fastball outside. The count evens 2 balls, 2 strikes. In the bottom of the first, Austin Voth will take the mound, and similar to what he did last weekend, trying to pull one out of the fire. The Huskies lost the first 2 against USC, and then Voth was marvelous in the third and final game, the one game the Huskies won. Here's the 2-2, popped up left side of the infield. Argyropoulos can't find it in the sun, so it'll be Tam Singh in short left field near the line to make the catch. 2 down. Boy, that Argyropoulos, to his credit, immediately told his shortstop, I can't find it, and then it was a longer run for Tam Singh. He goes all the way behind the bag at third, and he makes the play on the pop-up in short left. So 2 down as Lamb pops up, and that'll bring up Troy Scott. Meggs still at first, Scott standing in. Scott a .262 average, 1 home run, 19 batted in. He was 1 for 5 yesterday with a run scored. Pitch on the way is a slider at the knees, strike 1. Scott in the ballgame on Friday night 0 for 4, and yesterday just a 1 for 5, so he's looking to snap out of that 1 for 9 and give the Huskies that production out of the cleanup spot. He's got a good situation here against a right-hander, and he laces it into the gap in left center field. This is going to get all the way to the wall. Meggs rounding second, motoring to third. They're going to wave Meggs in. The relay is on the way. It will be up the line, and the Huskies are on the board. Trickles away from the catcher Ponciano, and Scott will advance to third. 1-0 Washington on a double into the gap in left center, and I'm not quite certain if they're going to call Tam Singh the error of the catcher. It'll be Tam Singh on the relay with a wild throw. That short hop Ponciano, E6 on the throw from the relay, and the Huskies have another one just 90 feet away. So Meggs scoring easily, running on contact with 2 down, and Scott opposite field double into the gap that gets all the way to the wall for the RBI standing on third. 1-0 Huskies here in the top of the first, and here's Chase Anselman. Pitch on the way, line to left field, but coming over a few steps and making the catch is Clausen. So the Huskies get 1 on a single from Joe Meggs and a 2-out opposite field RBI double in the gap by Troy Scott. They leave 1, and as we go to the bottom of the first, after a half frame, Huskies 1, Cougars coming up.
Neighbors are great sources of advice. It's no different when it comes to your health. You just need to talk to the right neighbor. Like your UW Neighborhood Clinic, part of the UW Medicine Health System. Take it from Steph Walker, who breathes easier without the bronchitis. Or the Renoir family, whose girls have their annual checkup every November. You'll find 7 UW neighborhood clinics across the Puget Sound region. UW Medicine Health System. From here, we change the world. Read more stories at uwmedicine.org/stories.
Is your family making a retirement living decision? Consider Norse Home Retirement and Assisted Living. Norse Home is a not-for-profit continuing care community on Finney Ridge, serving Seattle with compassionate care for 50 years. Come for their monthly Sunday brunch and discover their quality services, sterling reputation, and fabulous location with a $1 million view. Plus, enjoy free breakfast. Find out more at norsehome.org. Norse Home Retirement and Assisted Living. There's no place like Norse Home.
This is Alternative Talk, 1150 AM, KKNW Seattle, and KLCK FM 98.9, Digital HD3 Seattle.
As we go to the bottom of the first, the Husky offense has spotted starter Austin Voth one run on a couple of hits in the top half of the frame, and the freshman Voth getting the start here on a Sunday afternoon and was brilliant 1 week ago against USC. Got the win, 7 innings, 3 hits, just 1 earned run against the Trojans, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Both the big freshman right-hander with a record of 2-4 on the year and an ERA of 5.40, making his 9th start of the year, his 10th overall appearance of the season. In 45 innings, the Husky right-hander has allowed 49 hits, has walked only 11, and has fanned 35. Opponents hitting 285, about Austin Voth. 7th-year head coach Donnie Marvitt will put Cody Bartlett, the second baseman, in the leadoff spot again. Patrick Clausen, who had a huge day yesterday, will play left and bat second. Derek Jones, the right fielder, batting third. He'll be followed by first baseman Taylor Ard in the cleanup spot. Matt Argyropoulos plays third and bats fifth for the Cougars today. Jay Ponciano, the catcher, hitting sixth. We will know the designated hitter when he comes to the plate in the 7 hole, as they like to manipulate that spot, as some college teams do. Then it's Trace Tam Singh batting 8th at short, and then hitting 9th, it's Kyle Johnson. First pitch swinging by Bartlett. Long fly, deep right field, going to be over the head and up against the wall of Meggs in left, and motoring into second base is Bartlett. First pitch swinging, and he one-hops the wall over Meggs' head and straight away left, and the Cougars immediately on the very first pitch have a runner in position. Boy, Bartlett unloading on that pitch, and he one-hops the base of the wall in left field and is on at second base. So just like that, the Cougars with a tying run in position. Here's Patrick Clausen, who had a mammoth day yesterday, the junior, hitting from the left side. Here's Voth now waiting for a series of signals from Santee behind the plate. Goes to the stretch, the look at Bartlett, and the pitch on the way. Swing and foul straight back against the screen. All that Clausen did yesterday was go 4 for 5 with 2 singles, a double, a triple, 5 runs batted in, and 4 runs scored. Had to hesitate there while I tallied it up. That line, 4 for 5, 5 runs batted in, 4 runs scored. And he stands in here, no balls, 1 strike. Here's a stretch by Voth, a look to second, and the pitch. That's a slider inside, ball 1. Defensively for the Huskies, B.K. Santee behind the plate. Troy Scott at third, Ty Afner at short, Jacob Lamb at second, and Eric Peterson at first. And in the outfield, it's Joe Meggs in left, Brendan Gardner-Young in center, and Chase Anselmont over in right. Cougars get the leadoff double from Bartlett. Here's the 1-1 on the way to Clausen. Popped up a mile high, shallow left center. The shortstop Afner is out, shielding the sun with a glove, and makes the one-handed catch and stumbles down on his backside. Going to be an adventure here with the sun coming down. We've already seen Argyropoulos lose one in the sun, only to be bailed out by a shortstop, and Afner battling the orb there, and he comes down with a catch. Pop up in shallow left center by Clausen, now 1 down, and Bartlett remains at second. Good job by Afner to stay with that, shielding the sun with a glove the whole time. Had to lean back at the last minute, made the catch, and fell right on his can in short left center. But he's up and ready to go. Here's the third hitter in the order, right fielder Derek Jones. 1 out, 1 on for the Cougars here in the bottom of the first. Here's the pitch on the way by Voth, and that's a fastball outside, ball 1. Jones had a big day as well yesterday in the 11-6 win. He goes 4 for 5 himself with a couple of runs batted in and a couple of runs scored. Cougars pound out 15 hits and 11 runs in yesterday's win. 1 ball, no strike count. Bartlett the lead at second. Here's the pitch. And that's ripped to right field, but Anselmont coming down and in toward the line to make the running catch. Tagging at second and motoring down to third is Bartlett, but there are 2 down. Nice running catch that time by Anselmont, who has had quite an adventure out there in right field in each of the first 2 games with the elements. Well, that ball was getting pushed all over the place there in the right field corner by the winds in each of the first 2 games. But again, today, just about ideal conditions. A little bit of a breeze, but not much to really make a major impact on a ball struck to that area of the ballpark. Here's Taylor Ard, the first baseman, with a runner on third, 2 down, a right-handed hitter. year. Art, a big year, 5th in the conference in runs batted in. He's got 34 of them on the year. That leads the Cougars, a .319 average and 4 home runs to go along with those 34 runs batted in. Here's the pitch on the way. Slider a little bit low. Ball 1. You heard Lindsey Meggs talk about it before the game. The bullpen in pretty good shape. Obviously, Adam Simber is rested and ready to go if need be. Speaking of the Husky bullpen, that really provided the one bright spot in an otherwise dismal day yesterday, as Zach Wright was 8 up, 8 down out of the Husky pen. Here's the 1-0, and that's lined in the hole into left field, and we are tied. Coming in from third to score is Bartlett on a sharp single in between short and third by Ard, and the RBI machine picks up another one. He's got 35 on the year, and it's now the Huskies 1 and the Cougars 1.
Number 23, Matt Argeropoulos.
So a run-scoring single with 2 down, scoring Bartlett by Taylor Ard on a ball punched right in between Scott at third and after at short into left field. Here's Matt Argeropoulos, the Cougar third baseman. Each team scoring 1 run on a couple of hits in the first frame. Cougars still at bat with 2 down and a runner on first. Both again from the stretch. And the pitch on the way, squaring to bunt and taking a strike is Argeropoulos with 2 down, 0-1 the count. Argeropoulos now getting a long series of signals as the Cougar third baseman, who's had himself a nice series as well, standing in from the right side. A .315 average, 5 home runs, 22 runs batted in for Argeropoulos. Ard the lead off the bag at first after the run-scoring single. Both again from the belt. Now will step off and look Ard back to the bag. Almost perfect conditions here on the 1st of May. And again, as far as I'm concerned, and a lot of people, good riddance to April. Here's the stretch and the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Big breaking ball that time. And now both ahead of Argeropoulos, no balls, 2 strikes. Bottom dropped out of that one. You heard Lindsey Meggs detail the importance of keeping the ball down. It's such a common theme, but boy, it hasn't reared its ugly head as much as it has in the last couple games so far today. The Huskies getting the ball, getting far too much of the strike zone, getting up in the strike zone collectively as a group, as a pitching staff in the first 2 games. Here's the 0-2 on the way. Swing and a miss. He blew him down, strike 3. So good recovery by both after giving up the run. Each team getting a run on 2 hits in the first inning of play. And as we go to the top of the second, it's the Huskies 1 and the Cougars 1.
If your attic or crawl space has been damaged by smoke, water, mold, or rodents, the last thing you want to do is crawl around trying to clean it up. So call Clean Crawls. We specialize in crawl space cleanups for commercial and residential accounts. Whether it's lower crawls or attics, we feature insulation removal and installation, vapor barrier removal and replacement, and odor elimination and sanitizing. Let us know how we can help you. Find us online at cleancrawl.com.
Pioneer Radio and Sports would like to thank the following businesses who are committed to customer service.
Today's Huskies broadcast is brought to you in part by James G. Murphy Company. See them on the web at murphyauction.com. By MCR Roofing. Bad roof? No more. By Emerald Cove Catering Company. Turn off the stove and call the Cove. By Clean Crawls. Excellence in serving people. And by Cedar Ridge Materials Incorporated. Spreading rock one driveway at a time.
Top of the second here in Pullman. Steve Sandmeyer with you. Glad you could join us for Husky Baseball on AM 1150 KKNW and online at GoHuskies.com. I hope wherever you're at, out and about, enjoying a beautiful day in the Pacific Northwest. It is a nice day here on the Palouse as well.
The catcher number 8, BK Santee.
BK Santee, the Husky catcher, will lead things off in the top of the second. He'll be followed by Eric Peterson, the first baseman, and Husky DH Spencer Rogers, 6, 7, and 8 against right-hander James Wise of the Cougars, who delivers a first-pitch fastball down low for ball 1. Santee, a .277 average, no home runs, 9 batted in. Here's the rock, the wind, and the 1-0, and that's lifted up foul out of play over the first base dugout. And the count evens at a ball and a strike. Huskies trying to avoid the sweep. Cougars trying to sweep a series in Pac-10 play for the first time all year long. Here's the wind and the 1-1. And that's on the outside corner. Good firm fastball. Strike 2 call. Again, Washington will be on the road again this coming weekend. Here's the wind and the 1-2 on the way by Wise, and that's grounded weakly out to short. Tam Singh hands it on a couple of hops and comes up throwing. Put out 6-3, and there's one down here in the top of the second. Trace Tam Singh at short. Cody Bartlett, who played short in the first 2 games for Washington State, is over at second base today.
The first baseman, number 25, Eric Peterson.
And here's Eric Peterson, the Husky first baseman. Left-handed bat, pinwheeling that bat and ready to go. Here's the wind and the pitch on the way. Check swing, didn't matter. Called strike on the outside corner. 0-1 the count. Peterson coming in at .248, no home runs, 12 driven in. 1 for 4 on Friday night. And appeared late. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that's on the outside corner. Quickly, no balls, 2 strikes. Was 0 for 1, but he walked and also scored a run. A couple of walks, I should say, in yesterday's game. Here's the 0-2, and that's hit foul back up against the screen, and the count stays no balls, 2 strikes. Washington at Stanford Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then a return home against Oregon State. And a reminder, that first game of that series will be at Safeco Field. The 0-2 is swung on and missed. Strike 3, so Peterson down on 3 pitches, and that's strikeout number 2 for James Wise, the Cougar right-hander. So here's DH Spencer Rogers. May 13th, Washington hosting Oregon State. That will be at Safeco Field. For ticket information, call 206-543-2200 or find out more online at GoHuskies.com. Pitch on the way to Rogers, a fastball on the outside corner, and Wise throwing a lot of first pitch strikes early. 0-1 the count. And that Safeco Field game is now kind of turned into a sort of annual tradition and a great opportunity to watch the college kids do it at the big league ballpark. Here's the 0-1 on the way, and that's outside for ball 1. And, of course, great atmosphere with another Northwest team like Oregon State coming to town to play in that game. It's a big part of it as well. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Took something off it. Rogers falling behind it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 down, nobody on. Top of the second in a 1-1 ball game as the Huskies try and salvage one of these 3 here on a Sunday afternoon. Here's the wind by Wise and the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Blew him down with a heat. Huskies go quietly here in the top of the second as Wise strikes out 2 of the 3 hitters he faces. After an inning and a half to go to the bottom of the second, still the Huskies won and the Cougars won.
Petra Mediterranean Bistro invites you to enjoy the ultimate in Mediterranean dining and cuisine. Our mission is to offer our guests an exquisite dining experience with an extensive variety of appetizers, authentic dishes, and our house-made specialties. Whether it's for lunch, dinner, or dessert, come discover the authentic taste of Jordan, Lebanon, Greece, Turkey, and Northern Africa right here in Seattle at 2501 4th Avenue. For reservations or catering information, call 206-728-5389 or see us at petravistro.com.
Have you heard the saying, we don't do windows? Well, at Charlie's Window Cleaning, we do what you don't want it to. Windows. Inside and outside, we're your clear choice for quality residential and commercial window cleaning, roof and gutter cleaning, and pressure washing. In fact, our highest priority is providing you with sparkling customer service. Find us online at charlieswindowcleaning.com and look for our ad in the Home Mag.
Bottom of the second at Bailey Brayton Field here in Pullman. Husky baseball on AM 1150 KKNW. 1-1 ball game. Each team scoring 1 run off a pair of hits in the first. Huskies go in order in the top of the second. And now in the bottom of the second against Husky right-handed freshman Austin Both. It will be 6, 7, and 8 due up in the Cougar order. Jay Ponciano, the left-handed hitting catcher, to start. Here in the bottom of the second, Both from the wind, ready to go, kicks and deals, and the first pitch is hit foul up and out of play over the Cougar dugout. The designated hitter today will be Brett Jacobs, who's in the on-deck circle for Washington State. 0-1 the count. Ponciano, the senior catcher, left-handed bat. He's a fifth-year senior. Both ready to go. The true freshman into the wide. Here's the 0-1. And that's again hit foul up and over the Cougar dugout and out of play. So quickly Voth ahead. No balls, 2 strikes. Voth was brilliant against USC last time out. In the victory, 7 innings, allowed just 3 hits, 1 earned run, walked 2 and struck out 4. It was magnificent. 0-2 the count here to Ponciano. Here's Voth into the wine and Austin's 0-2 pitch. Slider swung on and missed, and he got him 2 straight strikeouts for Voth, who got Argyropoulos to end the first, and now Ponciano to start the second.
The designated hitter, number 15, Brett Jacobs.
And here's Brett Jacobs, the Washington State DH. Jacobs a .260 average, 1 home run, 15 batted in, hitting from the right side. Both spinning that combination into the glove, now gets his grip into the wind, and the pitch on the way is a fastball swung on and missed. 0-1 the count. Trace Tam Singh, the shortstop, in the on-deck circle for Washington State. Not quite as big of a crowd as we had yesterday or the day before, but still substantial. The 0-1 is lifted high and deep to left. Meggs will look up, and this one is gone. A solo home run by Brett Jacobs, and the Cougars are in front. It's now Washington State 2 and Washington 1. No doubt about it. For Jacobs, it's home run number 2 and RBI number 16 on the season, and the Cougars play long ball and have hit a home run for the 3rd consecutive game. All 3 games in this series, they have hit a home run, at least one, and they lead it 2-1. Here's Trace Tam Singh, the shortstop. See how Voth responds. It was just a solo home run. Pitch on the way is a slider down and away for ball 1. Trace Tam Singh, the shortstop, 11 of 47 on the year, a .234 average, no home runs, 2 batted in. 2-1 Washington State now here in the bottom of the second. Both ready to go. Into the wind, here comes the 1-0 to Tam Singh, and that's a fastball down low. And he's behind him, 2 balls, no strikes. No doubt home run off the bat of DH Brett Jacobs has the Cougars in front. 1 down, bottom of the second. And a 2-0 count to the next hitter, Trace Tam Singh. Both peering over that glove, and the big right-hander ready to go. Into the wide, here comes the 2-0 on the way. And that's a fastball upstairs, ball 3. And now B.K. Santee wants time, and he's going to go out and try and calm his freshman down. Play-by-play brought to you in part by Seattle Auto Service Center, your complete auto repair and service specialists. By Round Table Pizza, ask about their limited number of Husky glasses available for free in Overlake, Woodinville, and in Issaquah. By Quorum Laurelhurst, serving Seattle's finest neighborhoods, and Artesian Hardwood Floors. We work hard to earn your trust because we value our reputation. 3 balls, no strikes, the count. Santee back behind the dish, and Tam Singh no doubt will be taking all the way here as Voth has to find the strike zone on his 4th pitch of the at-bat. Pitch on the way is at the knees for called strike 1 by home plate umpire Larry Randall. So 3-1 on Tam Singh, the freshman out of Newport High School in Bellevue. Both into the wide. Here comes the 3-1. And that's ripped to right field, in for a base hit. Good piece of hitting there by Tam Singh. Opposite field single. And the Cougars have another man on here in the bottom of the second. A 1-out opposite field single by Trace Tam Singh. And that'll bring up the 9th hitter in the order, center fielder Kyle Johnson.
Center fielder, number 1, Kyle Johnson.
Other scores in Pac-10 play. Oregon, a 3-0 lead, I should say, against California. That ball game going to the bottom of the first in Berkeley. Dave Dangler, the Husky pitching coach, out to talk to Austin Both. And there is activity in the Husky bullpen already. Elsewhere in Tucson, USC and Arizona are scoreless. Arizona winning the first two of that series, trying to go for the sweep. We'll get underway momentarily in Tempe. Stanford at Arizona State. Team splitting the first two in that one. And then a 1 o'clock first pitch scheduled, Oregon State and UCLA. That's a big series, but Oregon State has taken the first two in that 3-game set. So Dave Dangler, the Husky pitching coach, is back into the dugout, and Austin Both going to try and recover after giving up the solo home run and then the single with one out here in the bottom of the second. Cougars in front 2-1. Here's Kyle Johnson, the ninth hitter, the center fielder, batting from the right side. Tam Singh, the runner on first. The stretch by Both, and the pitch on the way. And that one's inside. Ball one, squaring to bunt was Johnson, but taking it inside for a 1-ball, no strike count. Kyle Johnson, the center fielder, only 180. He's 9 of 50 on the year. No home runs, 2 batted in. Cougars jumping in front 2-1 here in the bottom of the second on a solo home run by DH Brett Jacobs with 1 out. That was followed by Trace Tam Singh with an opposite field single into right. He leads off the bag at first, does Tam Singh. Both out of the stretch with that ball behind his backside, now goes to the glove. Peers over his shoulder and turns and throws to first, and Tam Singh diving back to the bag. Everyone out on the top railing. It's the Apple Cup, top of the step of the dugout. You got the railing there, and all the guys in each dugout are leaning over, watching play. 2-1 Cougars here in the bottom of the second. 1 out, 1 on for Washington State. Another turn and a throw to first, and Tam Singh back to the bag. Symmetrical park here at Bailey Brayton Field. 330 down the lines in both left and right. 375 to the alleys in center. 400 to dead center with the raised wall. And again, this park playing pretty fair today. Not a ton of wind to speak of. Here's the stretch by Both and the 1-0. A bunt pop up. Both off the mound will make the catch. And there are 2 down. So Johnson tried to bunt his way on. Didn't really look as if he was trying to sacrifice the runner over. He popped it straight up, and now there's 2 down. Nor would you expect that, but Washington State has done a lot of that leading into this series. The opportunities just haven't presented themselves. They were bashing the ball all over the park yesterday, and they've already left the yard today. That turns the lineup over. Here's Cody Bartlett, today's second baseman. He played shortstop in each of the first 2 games. Bartlett still in his customary leadoff spot, and he stands in with 2 down and 1 on. Both again from the stretch, and the pitch on the way to Bartlett is a slider on the inside corner. Beautifully spun in there. Strike 1 called. 0-1 the count. Bartlett got things started off immediately in the bottom of the first. First pitch he saw from Both, he doubled over Joe Meggs' head in left and one-hopped the wall. He came around to score on an RBI single by Ard in the first. He's 1 for 1 with a double and a run scored. Here's the stretch by Both. A turn and a look and a throw almost got Peterson off the bag. He had to stumble in front of the runner, Tam Singh, getting back to the bag to make that play and just keep it in play. Certainly enough room down the right field line. That ball gets by him, angling past the Husky dugout on the first base side. 2-1 Cougs. 2 down, 1 on for Washington State. Bottom of the second. Here's the 0-1. And that's chopped foul outside the bag at third. And quickly Both ahead. No balls, 2 strikes on Bartlett. We had a nice crowd on Friday night. Very good showing yesterday. The best crowd of these 3 games. And we're getting a late arriving crowd. A pretty substantial number of people here today as this game moves on. It's a beautiful day today. Here's the stretch. And the 0-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss, and he got him up and in. Strike 3. Third strikeout of the afternoon for Both, but the Cougars get 1. A solo home run by DH Brett Jacobs. And as we go to the top of the third, it's the Cougars 2, the Huskies 1.
To make it in this league, you need to give 100% of the time. Why would you expect anything less from your auto mechanic? The professionals at Seattle
Auto Service Center are the area's leading automotive professionals. They feature ASE certified technicians, trained and certified to perform diagnosis, repair, and service on all systems of your automobile, truck, and SUV. For all your auto repair and maintenance needs, visit them at 6718 Roosevelt Way Northeast, or find out more at SeattleAutoServiceCenter.com. The players on the field today didn't start their careers at the collegiate level. Thanks to their parents and coaches, they learned valuable skills through youth sports programs. The following sponsors encourage you to get your children involved: E&J Cabinets, Johnson's Auto Repair, Clean Crawls, and Bell Kirk Electric.
The third here in Pullman. Steve Sandmeyer as the Husky baseball team trailing Washington State 2-1. The Apple Cup on the baseball diamond on a glorious Sunday afternoon. Hope you're out enjoying the weather here on the first day of May, wherever you're at. Ty Afner, the Husky shortstop, will lead things off 9-1-2 in the Husky order. He'll be followed by leadoff man Brendan Gardner-Young and left fielder Joe Meggs against Cougar right-hander James Wise, who has been spotted a 2-1 lead thanks to a solo home run by DH Brett Jacobs. First pitch on the way is a fastball at the knees to After. Strike one. Here's the wind and the 0-1 pitch on the way by Wise, and that one misses down low. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. After coming in at .234, no home runs, 12 batted in. Here's the wind and the 1-1, and that's ripped into the hole in right field. They're going to ground through for an arc or a single the other way by Afner, just kind of punching one between first and second, and a ground ball base hit the other way, and the Huskies have the tying run on here in the top of the third with nobody out. Afner has been collecting a few of those singles this weekend, 1 for 3 on Friday, and then yesterday going 2 for 4. Gets another hit here, so he's gotten on base with a hit in each of these 3 weekend games now with that single to right field, a little off the end of the bat, but he hit them where they weren't, and that turns the lineup over, and here's Brendan Gardner-Young. Gardner-Young squaring to bunt, pitch on the way, lays one down on the right side, nicely done. The pitcher Wise coming off the mound, fielding his position, and throws out Gardner-Young, sacrifice bunt, and the put out 1-3, but that moves Afner into scoring position with just 1 down, and it'll bring up the white-hot Joe Meggs. Meggs, 3 for 4 on Friday night, 3 for 5 yesterday, already 1 for 1 today. He's got 7 hits in this series, and he's definitely the guy the Huskies want up right now with a runner in position. Meggs, again, 1 for 1 today with that sharp single back up through the middle. Here's the stretch and the pitch on the way, and that's inside, spinning away, almost got a piece of his sleeve, ball 1. In the process, Meggs has boosted his average to .358 on the season. 1 home run, 15 batted in. Afner off the bag at second here in the top of the third. Here's the stretch by Wise and the pitch to Meggs, and that one a little bit low. 2 balls, no strikes the count. Outfield straight away, infield is back, and the flags are limp here in Pullman. Gorgeous day on the Palouse. Here's the stretch and the 2-0. And that's ripped up the middle into center field after going to third, where he will hold. And Joe Meggs right now is taking batting practice this weekend. Another base hit, his 8th of the series. He's 2 for 2 today after collecting 3 hits both yesterday and Friday night, and the Dogs with runners on the corners. After at third, Meggs at first, and that'll bring up Jacob Lamb. Meggs is hitting every ball on the screws this weekend. Runners on the corners, 1 down, and here's Lamb. Huskies have set the table for their RBI leader, Lamb, with 21 on the year. .335 average, make it 22. I should not shortchange him. Here's the pitch on the way, and that one is upstairs, ball 1. Lamb last time up popped out behind the bag at third. It was collected by the shortstop Tam Singh on a ball that Argyropoulos for the moment lost in the sun. Here's the stretch in the 1-0, and that one's in the dirt. 2 balls, no strikes. Huskies have the tying run just 90 feet away. With Afner at third, Meggs at first, and a good situation here. 2 balls, no strikes to the 3-hole hitter, Jacob Lamb, hitting from a left side. Wise now from the stretch, looks at third, and the 2-0 on the way is on the outside corner, strike 1. Lamb didn't like it in terms of taking an offer at it, but still has a count in his favor. 2 balls, 1 strike. Troy Scott in the on-deck circle has got the RBI double for the Huskies' only run thus far. Here's the 2-1. Hit foul, straight back and out of play. Lamb was on it, but fouled it straight back, and the count evens 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lindsey Meggs clapping his hands atop the stairs of the Husky dugout on the first base side. Runners take their leads. After from third, Meggs from first. Long series of signals. Now it's Wise from the stretch. And a fake to third and look to first, and nobody going anywhere. And Lamb will step out and then reclaim his spot on the left batter's box, and we're ready to go again. 2-2 the count. 2 on, 1 down for the Dogs here in the top of the third. Here's a stretch by Wise, and the 2-2 again hit foul up and out of play. Straight back, great battle between Lamb and Wise. Wise kind of an interesting season. He'll definitely pitch to contact, allowing 59 hits and 55 1/3. He's walked 26 and has fanned 48 in 55 1/3. Opponents hitting 273 off the right-hander. Here's the 2-2. Swung on and missed. Got him with a fastball. And down goes Lamb. That's the 4th strikeout of the afternoon for Wise. And now there are 2 down here in the Husky third.
Number 32, Troy Scott.
So now it's up to Troy Scott with 2 down. Scott is 1 for 1 with the RBI double the other way back in the first. Runners still at the corners now, 2 down, and Scott digging in from the left side. Huskies hoping to cash in on the opportunity. Here's the stretch and the pitch on the way, and that one is a little bit low with a fastball. Nice piece of hitting for Scott in that RBI double. Didn't try and pull the ball. He just rode the outer half of that plate and smoked it the other way into the gap in left center field. Here's the pitch on the way, and that's upstairs. Ball 2, 2 balls, and no strikes. For Scott last inning, that was RBI number 20 on the year, double number 12 to lead the Huskies in 2 base hits. 2-0 the count. Got a good situation here. Runners again take their leads. After at third, Meggs at first. Here's Wise out of the stretch, and the 2-0 pitch on the way. Outside, ball 3. Husky right fielder Chase Anselman's on deck, and he's been swinging a good bat this series. Scott, I'm sure, will be taking at 3-0 here with runners on the corners. In the top of the third, here's the stretch by Wise. And the 3-0 pitch on the way, taking all the way, ball 4, and on 4 straight, Wise walking Scott, and the bases are now loaded with 2 down here in the top of the third.
The right fielder, number 11, Chase Anselman.
So down to second goes Meggs. Scott on at first via the 4-pitch walk. Afner down at third. Bases loaded, 2 down, top of the third. And here's Chase Anselman. Anselman lined out to left back in the first. He's 0 for 1. Wise now goes to the stretch. No runner being held with 2 down. Pitch on the way is a little bit low. Ball 1. Anselman been swinging a good bat at an opposite field double in game 1, at a solo home run yesterday, and hit the ball sharply but lined out to left in his first at bat today. And he's got the count. 1 ball, no strikes. The stretch. And the pitch. And that's on the outside corner. Strike 1 called. Anselman kind of leaning backward and looking up into the blue sky here in Pullman, cringing at the decision by home plate umpire Larry Randall, but the count evens at 1 ball, 1 strike. Runners take their leads. Bases full of Huskies here in the third with 2 down. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Couldn't catch the fastball. And the count moves to a ball and 2 strikes. Wise already with 4 strikeouts in 2 2/3, looking for number 5 here. Anselman, I'm sure, with other ideas. The bases loaded. Runners take their leads. After from third. Meggs from second. Scott from first. And time is called. So Anselman now will run over and talk to Lindsey Meggs with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. 2 down and the bases loaded. Lindsey having a conversation just outside the on-deck circle with his hitter. And now Chase will trudge back to the plate. A little counseling going on there with a 1-ball, 2-strike count. 2 down, bases loaded. Here we go. Anselman ready to go. So is Wise. Gets a signal from Ponciano. Now goes to the glove. Hesitates, and the 1-2 pitch on the way. Outside, ball 2. 2-2 the count. The middle infielders are out in the outfield area with Tam Singh out in short left center at short, and Bartlett out in short right center at his second base post, sitting back with 2 down. Here's the stretch, and the 2-2 on the way. Swinging lined foul down the left field line and out of play near the concession stands in front of the Cougar bullpen. Anselman just a little bit behind that, but he was on it with a level plane swing. 2-2 the count. Bases loaded here in the top of the third. Huskies trailing at 2-1. And again, runners take their leads. Here's the stretch by Wise. The look back to second. And another 2-2 on the way. Swing, and this one's lifted to right field, but right back near where Jones is standing, and on the run makes the catch. Anselman gives it a ride, but Jones running back to the track flags down the line drive. Tough break for the Dogs. They leave the bases loaded here in the top of the third, and as we go to the bottom of the third, still the Cougars 2 and the Huskies 1.
Installing, refinishing, or restoring your hardwood floors? Artisan Hardwood Floors provides the highest quality craftsmanship at the most affordable price. For generations, we've been working hard to earn your trust and exceed your expectations. We're experts in all types of hardwood services and specialize in Swedish finish with a wide range of color and top finishes, whether it's insulation, sanding, refinishing, restoration, or stairwork. Call 206-933-1703 or 425-644-9639 or go to artisanhardwoodfloors.com.
Want to get organized? Want more space? Then contact E&J Cabinets and make the most of your space with a Murphy wall bed. Today's wall beds are durable, sleek, reliable, and built for comfort while maximizing the space in your room. You can also save money with our pre-drilled, pre-finished, ready-to-assemble, do-it-yourself bed kit. For all your custom cabinets and Murphy wall beds, call 206-375-3211 or compare our prices at murphybedseattle.com. Mention the Huskies for $100 off the installation of a Murphy wall bed.
Well, all hands on deck scenario for the Husky bullpen here on a Sunday afternoon, and it looks like a new pitcher into the ball game for Washington. That's it for Austin Voth, as Jacob Clem taking his warm-up tosses here in the bottom of the third for Lindsey Meggs. Clem, a former starting pitcher in this rotation, missed about 3 weeks with a groin injury, appeared last weekend for the first time in 3 weeks, and also appeared out of the bullpen in Friday night's game, and he was ultra effective. He went 7 up, 7 down, 2 1/3 innings, no walks, no hits, 3 strikeouts. Again, 7 straight retired in his outing on Friday night in 2 1/3, and he's going to get an opportunity for extended innings here coming out of the bullpen for Austin Voth. So the book is closed on Voth. He allowed 2 runs off 4 hits in 2 innings of work. Struck out 3, did not walk a batter, and now it's Jacob Clem's turn. Clem on the mound will face 2, 3, and 4 in the Cougar order. Patrick Clausen, the left fielder, followed by right fielder Derek Jones, and first baseman Taylor Ard. Clem into the wind, and the pitch on the way is a slider down low. The numbers on Clem for the season: 2 and 4 with an ERA of 3.86. He's making his 12th appearance of the season. The right-hander into the wind, and that 3/4 sidearm delivery on the way, chopped on the left side. Scott charging at third, makes the throw wide of the bag, away from Peterson down the line, and rounding first and heading into second is Clausen. Not sure if they're going to call that a hit and an error or possibly a two-base error. I'd imagine it's the former of the two. Would have been a tough play to beat Clausen. I would imagine that'll be a single with a one-base error on Scott with a throw, but we'll wait and see. Either way, the Cougars
number 25,
with a runner in position to start things out here in the bottom of the third. And here comes Derek Jones, the right fielder. So Clem now going to have to work his way out of a runner on second, no-out situation. On a little dribbler off the left-handed bat from Clausen. Here's the pitch on the way. And that's ripped to the right side. On a hop, it'll be Peterson at the bag to collect it. He'll go there himself. But on the play, Clausen goes down to third. So the Cougars with another run just 90 feet away and one down.
First baseman, number 35, Taylor Ard.
And now it's Taylor Ard, the cleanup hitter. I see on the board that it's only 4 hits for the Cougars. Now they add an error, and the Cougars already had 4 hits. That'll be a 2-base error on Troy Scott. Here's the pitch on the way, and that's a slider inside. Almost got a piece of Ard spinning away. E5 on the error that allowed Clausen to go to second. 1 ball, no strikes the count on Ard. And again, Clausen down at third. Clem coming on in relief of both here in the bottom of the third. Here's the stretch by Jacob and the 1-0. And that's weakly hit out to short. This will get the run in. After will collect it, throw low, but it's dug out by Peterson. And the out recorded, but it's an RBI ground out by Taylor Ard. And boy, that's an unearned run. Tough to see the Huskies give a run away there on the 2-base error that allowed Clausen to get on to second and advance to third on a ground ball before coming in on a ground ball. Ard has 2 runs batted in. He singled in a run in the first and now grounds out, but gets the run batted in and now continues to tally his RBI total. It's now 36 on the year. As there are 2 down now, nobody on, and the first pitch on the way to Matt Argyropoulos is in there for strike 1. The Cougars have scored 1 in each of the first 3 frames, and they lead it 3-1 here with 2 out in the bottom of the third. Here's the wind by Clem and the 0-1. A slow breaking ball drifting outside for ball 1. Argyropoulos 0 for 1, struck out to end the first. As Clem has come on to assume the duties here in the bottom of the third. Here's the wind and the 1-1. Slow breaking ball for ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. I mentioned Clem 2-4 with an ERA of 3.86. In 49 innings, he's allowed 53 hits, has walked just 12, and has struck out 34. Opponents hitting .269 off right-hander Jacob Clem. Here's the wind and the 2-1. And that's chopped weakly to third. Scott, nice short hop play, and will square up and throw again wide. And it'll pull Peterson off the bag. That is Troy Scott's second error of the inning, both on throwing errors. And safe at first is Argyropoulos. Scott has made that transition from first to third relatively easily. And for whatever reason, today's a little wild on his throws. Scott, coming into the game, had only committed 6 errors all year long, and he has committed 2 errors here in the bottom of the third as the Cougars remain alive with Ponciano at the plate. And now the lead at first from Argyropoulos. Pitch on the way, bunting in front of the plate. Santee is off, but the foul ball signal by Larry Randall will negate the play, and it'll simply go to no balls and a strike. Scott's made a couple of nice plays on the Clausen play. It was a slow roller that he hustled and gloved cleanly, but then threw down the right field line, and it passed a diving Peterson at first. That allowed Clausen to get to second to lead off the inning, and then here with 2 down, Argyropoulos on a high bounding ball that he short hopped beautifully and then squared up and threw wide again. This time Peterson able to dive and catch the ball as to not keep it going down the right field line. But the second error by Scott this inning as the pitch on the way is hit foul, but interference will be called on Santee as his glove got knocked right off his left hand, and first base will be awarded to Ponciano. Huskies making a few too many miscues here in the third inning in Pullman.
The designated hitter, number 15.
Catcher's interference on Ponciano's swing. And now the Cougars have runners on first and second, 2 down, and here's Brett Jacobs, the DH, who has already homered in this game. He homered off Foth back in the second, a solo shot with 1 down. He's 1 for 1 with the home run. Here's the pitch by Clem, squaring to bunt, taking a strike, snap throw down to second, leaping in the air is Lamb to keep that ball in the infield. Boy, the Huskies right now threatening to throw it all over the lot here in the third. Infield looking like they're pressing just a little bit. 1 ball and no strike the count. Or I should say 0-1 as home plate umpire Larry Randall recorrects the scoreboard operator. Pitch on the way is down and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. 2 on, 2 down. Bottom of the third. Huskies trail at 3-1. 3 errors on the Huskies today. 1-1 the count. Jacobs, the DH, ready to go. Runners take their leads. The stretch by Clem, and the pitch on the way is on the letters strike 2. A ball and 2 strikes. Friday night in a 5-2 loss, the story was missed execution. Saturday in an 11-6 loss, the story was a pitching staff that just found too much of the strike zone, and the Cougars taking advantage. Today, the story is sloppy play early. But we're still only in the third. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Got him on the slider, and Clem out of the jam. The Cougars do get 1, an unearned run here in the bottom of the third, and as we go to the fourth, it's Washington State 3, Washington 1.
Lewis, I was surfing the web, comparing other airlines' rates to Horizon Air and Alaska Airlines.
Really, Clark, and you're the one who always said...
I know, it's not about the money, I know.
You always said that Alaska and Horizon are our airlines from right here in the Northwest, and we take care of our own.
I realize that, Lewis, but I got...
Clark, you always said that the 3 C's matter most.
Convenience, comfort, and quality. I know. I'm just trying to say that the prices at AlaskaAir.com are really low. But you're right, it's not about the money.
On the Clark and Lewis expedition, it wasn't about making $40 a month.
$40? I was paid $30 a month.
And worth every penny.
But
you were like a Horizon or Alaska fare at AlaskaAir.com. A tremendous value that America couldn't find anywhere else.
Yeah, but...
But it's not about the money, I know.
Yeah, but I...
Look, refills.
Ooh.
Find low fares and great deals on cars, hotels, vacation packages, and more. All in one easy place at AlaskaAir.com.
We go to the top of the fourth at Bailey Brayton Field. Steve Sandmeyer with you. The third and final game of this weekend series between Washington and Washington State. Huskies with work to do, trailing 3-1 in the top of the fourth. Play-by-play brought to you in part by North Lake Tavern, where dog fans have celebrated for 57 years. Also by Mitchell Moving and Storage, dependable quality service since 1952. Also by RWA Electric for all your electrical needs. And by Eastside Automotive and Tire, you deserve to work with a champion. B.K. Santee, the Husky catcher, to lead things off against Mr. Wise, and this one's ripped to left field. Back on the ball is the left fielder. Clausen will not get to it, will one-hop the wall in left center, and motoring into second is Santee with a leadoff double here in the top of the fourth. Beautiful first pitch cut there, and Santee rips it into the gap in left center field, and the Huskies have a runner in position here in the top of inning number 4. For Santee, that's double number 6 on the year, and he's now 1 for 2 on the afternoon. And immediately out of the dugout, here comes assistant Greg Swenson, going to go talk to his starter. No time wasted by either manager. James Wise getting a quick conversation with the infield, and in a game in which the Cougars have scored one in each of the first three, coming off an 11-run outburst yesterday, the conversation might be keep the ball down, let the guys behind you get it done. And that time Santee took a belt-high fastball and he roped it into the gap in left center, one-hopping the wall at the 375 marker. Santee will be on at second when play resumes, and Eric Peterson, the first baseman, will be at the plate. Peterson 0 for 1. He struck out swinging in the second. Do they think Wise is hurt? I'm not sure why the conversation took that long. Larry Randall, the home plate umpire, went there to break up the meeting and then decided to have a little chat himself. But back to the dugout goes Greg Swenson, the assistant coach for Washington State. He's a former Husky assistant. We resume action here in the top of the fourth with Santee on at second and Peterson at the plate. 3-1 Cougars, but the Huskies with a runner on second with nobody down here in the top of the fourth. Here's the pitch. Change outside for ball one. Argyropoulos playing even with the bag at third defensively. Hard well behind the bag at first on the right side. Pitch on the way, and that's at the knees. Strike one call. The ball and a strike. And boy, Bartlett is out in the outfield area. I won't call it the grass. It's the entire field turf surface here. But there is a world between Peterson and the right side of the infield defensively for the Cougars. Here's the 1-1, and that's outside ball two. 2 balls, 1 strike the count. Boy, the fans continue to file in. We've had a late arriving crowd, but another good set of fans here today. 2-1 the count. Here comes Ponciano back out to discuss things with Wise. Play slowing down here with the Huskies trailing 3-1. Huskies do have 5 hits. But the 3 errors on the day, an ugly number on the line. 3-4-1 for the Cougars, 1-5-3 for the Huskies here in the top of the fourth. Now we're back to action. Santee leads off the bag at second. Wise out of the stretch on the third base side of that rubber. 2-1 the count to Peterson. Here's the pitch. Swing and a ball hit foul up and out of play over the third base dugout. So the count goes to 2-2. I don't believe there is any activity in the Cougar bullpen, but there is a partition between myself and where the Cougar arms warm up beyond the perimeter of the left field area down the line. And usually I see some arms and legs flailing, and that's how I can tell. Here's the 2-2, and again hit foul up and out of play. Husky bullpen is idle for now. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Eric Peterson. We're in the top of the fourth. Cougars in front 3-1, but the Huskies with Santee via the leadoff double on at second. Peterson ready to go. Again 0 for 1 with a strikeout back in the second. Left-handed bat, 246 average. Here's the stretch by Wise. And the pitch. Fouled straight back against the screen behind the plate. Great battle between Wise and Peterson here. Husky designated hitter Spencer Rogers in the on-deck circle. Wind fluttering just a little bit, waving the American flag out in right center, a little bit toward the line. Maybe about 5 miles an hour. We had some pretty stiff winds the first 2 games. Here's the 2-2, and that's a fastball outside, ball 3. Now goes full on Peterson. Huskies will take a long bus ride home across the mountains after the ball game today. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Peterson. Santee off the bag at second. Here's the stretch. And the payoff pitch, swinging a ground ball toward the middle. Tam Singh, nice diving stop. Will try and make the throw, but Peterson beats it and will have an infield single. Hustling up the line. Stumbling at play by Tam Singh. He thought he was going to lay out, but after halfway down, he stuck his knee down and actually able to pop back up and pivot. Nice glove effort, but by that time, Peterson had enough to beat it out down the line, and down to third on the play goes Santee on an infield single by Eric Peterson. So the Dogs in business. Runners on the corners, nobody out here in the top of the fourth, and it'll be designated hitter Spencer Rogers hitting from the left side. Washington State will give up the run for the out. They're back, double play depth up the middle with Tam Singh and Bartlett at short and second. Pitch to Rogers is a fastball on the outside corner. 0-1. Rogers 0 for 1, struck out to end the second. Huskies now already 6 hits on the afternoon. We're in the top of the fourth. They trail it 3-1, but runners on the corners, nobody out. Here's the 0-1. Swinging a ball hit foul out of play down the left field line, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. Rogers, just 141 on the year. He is 13 of 88. An opportunity here to inch the Huskies closer. Here's the pitch. And that's a fastball high and away, and the ball strike count goes to 1-2. Now some high cumulus clouds covering the sun just for a moment. A little shade covering the field here in Pullman. A ball and 2 strikes on Rogers. Runners take their leads. Here's the pitch. Swinging, this one's lifted to left field. Back on the ball is Clausen that should score the run. They'll make the catch. Tagging at third is Santee. He will come into home. There will be no throw. It'll go into second, and the Huskies are on the board yet again. It's now the Cougars 3 and the Huskies 2. Sacrifice fly to left by Rogers, scoring B.K. Santee, and the Huskies within 1 as they get closer with 1 here in the top of the fourth.
Shortstop number 3, Ty Hafner.
So the sacrifice fly by Rogers, that's RBI number 4 on the season for Spencer. It plates Santee. Down at first remains Peterson, and now with 1 down and 1 on, it'll be Ty Hafner, the Husky shortstop. Nice job by Peterson, who fell behind in the count. But battles even and then lifts a sacrifice fly the other way to left. 3-2 now. Turning a throw to first, and Peterson back to the bag. Hafner is 1 for 1. An opposite field ground ball single to right, back in the third. Here's the pitch on the way. Runner goes. Swung on and missed. Throw down to second is to nobody. That one trickling away from the bag, and Bartlett in short right center will knock it down. So that'll be a stolen base on a missed hit and run. That was well out of the zone, and of course Hafner trying to protect his base runner, swinging and missing, but it worked out for the Huskies, as it will be a stolen base for Peterson, and the Dogs with a tying run in scoring position now with 1 down on a missed hit and run, but off throw by Ponciano, the catcher, and he was waiting for someone to get to the bag and cover, and I don't think there was a good line of communication. There's a little blooper toward right field, but going over is Jones to make the catch, and there are now 2 down here in the fourth. So Peterson stays at second. And that'll turn the Husky lineup over. Here's leadoff hitter Brendan Gardner-Young.
The center fielder, number 37, Brendan Gardner-Young.
So Peterson on at second with a stolen base. That's his first of the year on that failed hit and run, but all's well that ends well. Ponciano looked to throw to the bag, but neither Bartlett nor Tam Singh were covering, and he just kind of threw it in that general direction. Here's a pitch on the way to GY, and that's a fastball on the outside corner for strike 1. Could have been a much more disastrous play for Washington State there, but in short right field, Bartlett just kind of knocked that ball down. See if GY can't get something here, and a 2-out single perhaps score the tying run with Peterson on at second, running on contact. Pitch lifted high and foul and up and out of play on the third base side, and quickly Gardner-Young behind, no balls, 2 strikes. Huskies have gotten to within 1 on a sacrifice fly by Spencer Rogers, scoring B.K. Santee. They trail at 3-2 here in the top of the 4th, 2 out and a runner on second. But an 0-2 count to Brennan Gardner-Young. Struck out. Also a sacrifice bunt. He's 0 for 1 today. Left-handed hitter, G.Y. The stretch by Wise, and the 0-2, and that's outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Not the prettiest line you'll ever see. 3-4-1 for the Cougars, 2-6-3 for the Huskies. But we got a 1-run game here in the 4th. Peterson again, the lead from second. Here's Wise from the belt, and the 1-2. And that's a little bit outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gardner-Young evening the count at 2-2. Joe Meggs in the on-deck circle, and he is 2 for 2 today. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down, runner on second, top of the 4th. Huskies trail at 3-2. Here's the stretch and the 2-2. And that's outside, ball 3. How about Gardner-Young, after falling behind 0-2, has worked it full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Wise, the Cougar starter on the third base side of that rubber, and the right-hander, the senior out of Boise, Idaho, pitching out of the stretch. The look back to Peterson at second. And the payoff pitch on the way. Check swing taken upstairs. Ball 4. Appeal made. And third base umpire Joe Maiden says, nope, didn't go around. And that's a quality at bat, no doubt, for Brennan Gardner-Young, who fell behind 0-2, but then able to draw the walk. And now runners on first and second, 2 out, and the significance of that, no doubt, is you bring Joe Meggs to the plate. And Meggs has been almost impossible to get out. 3 for 4 on Friday night, 3 for 5 yesterday, and 2 for 2 today. And it looks like Washington State will make a pitching change here with 2 down in the top of the 4th and 2 on. They're going to go to the bullpen here on a Sunday afternoon in Pullman, and that'll be it for Travis Wise. We'll take a timeout. 3-2. Huskies trail it in the top of the 4th. They'll have 2 on with 2 out when we return as the Cougars make the pitching change. We'll take this 2-minute timeout.
When your home is your castle, your landscape needs Castle Walls. Castle Walls is a landscape design and build company with over a decade of experience. We specialize in retaining walls, modular block walls, pedestal pavers, interlocking pavers, synthetic grass, outdoor kitchens and fireplaces, and a full line of residential and commercial landscaping services. We're a can-do company, ready to make your landscape dreams come true. See our work at CastleWallsLLC.com. Castle Walls, construction for a lifetime. If you're considering buying a new, pre-owned or factory-ordered vehicle, consider Chaplin's North Bend Chevrolet. Why? At Chaplin's, we're committed to providing the highest level of service for our customers, being the best without compromise while giving back to our community. We're just what you'd expect from a hometown dealer. Learn our story and browse our inventory online at ChevyOutlet.com or visit us at 106 Main Avenue North. Chaplin's North Bend Chevrolet, inviting your family to be a part of ours.
Don't just change the face of your landscape. Unlock its potential with Cedar Ridge Materials. From small 1-yard loads to massive excavation and retaining wall projects, Cedar Ridge Materials offers a diverse variety of services that will help transform the vision of your yard into reality. Whether it's topsoil, bark, sand, gravel, or excavating, land clearing, or trench digging, find Cedar Ridge Materials in your Yellow Pages or online at CedarRidgeMaterialsInc.com. Cedar Ridge Materials. If you're in the dark when it comes to choosing an electrician, you're not alone. What makes Belkirk Electric stand out? It could be their top quality customer service. Maybe it's because they do the job right the first time. Whatever the reason, folks keep calling Belkirk Electric for all their commercial and residential power, light, and wiring needs. Get enlightened. Call Belkirk Electric today. They're in your Yellow Pages. That's Belkirk Electric. Fast, friendly, and reliable.
On the right-handed freshman J.D. Leckenby taking over for the Cougars here in the top of the 4th, a 3-2 game in which the Huskies trail, but they've got the bases, or I should say runners on first and second with 2 down for the hottest hitter this weekend, that being left fielder Joe Meggs. Leckenby appeared in Friday night's game. He went a third of an inning, got his man out, but now he's going to have his hands full with Husky left fielder Joe Meggs. Big situation here. Here's Here's the stretch and the first pitch to Meggs, and that's grounded outside the bag at third, foul. And the count goes to 0-1. 3-2 ball game. Huskies trail it, but they've got runners on first and second with 2 down here in the top of the fourth. Chasing the starter Wise, and now Leckenby will go after Meggs. And again, Meggs already 2 for 2 today with a couple singles and a run scored. Runners take their leads. Peterson at second, Gardner Young at first. Here comes the 0-1 by Leckenby. Chopped foul at the plate, and quickly, no balls, 2 strikes on Husky left fielder Joe Meggs. Leckenby, again, appearing in Friday night's game. He's a freshman out of Idaho. The numbers on Leckenby, pretty impressive. 24 2/3, only 5 runs allowed for an ERA of 1.82. And he's ahead of Meggs at 0-2. Leckenby making his 16th appearance, 24 2/3, just 13 hits. He has walked 12 and has only struck out 4, but opponents hitting just 149 off him, allowing just 13 hits in 24 2/3. Here's the stretch and the 0-2, and that's outside. A little sidewinding fastball missing wide for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 down here at the top of the fourth. 3-2 Cougars, and Meggs digging in from the right side, ready to go. No runner being held with 2 down. Infield back, outfield straight away. Leckenby, the stretch, and the right-handed freshman looks back to second, kicks and deals. Swinging a ground ball hit to the right side. It'll be gobbled up by Bartlett, who'll make the throw in time. Side retired. So Leckenby comes on, gets out of the 2-out situation, but the Huskies do get 1 in the top of the fourth on a sacrifice fly by Spencer Rogers that scored BK Santee. We go to the bottom of the fourth. It's the Cougars 3 and the Huskies 2.
Neighbors are great sources of advice. It's no different when it comes to your health. You just need to talk to the right neighbor. Like your UW Neighborhood Clinic, part of the UW Medicine Health System. Take it from Steph Walker, who breathes easier without the bronchitis. Or the Renoir family, whose girls have their annual checkup every November. You'll find 7 UW Neighborhood Clinics across the Puget Sound region. UW Medicine Health System. From here, we change the world. Read more stories at uwmedicine.org/stories.
If your attic or crawl space has been damaged by smoke, water, mold, or rodents, the last thing you want to do is crawl around trying to clean it up. So call Clean Crawls. We specialize in crawl space cleanups for commercial and residential accounts. Whether it's lower crawls or attics, we feature insulation removal and installation, vapor barrier removal and replacement, and odor elimination and sanitizing. Let us know how we can help you. Find us online at cleancrawl.com.
Welcome back to Bailey Brayton Field. Steve Sandmeyer with you on a Sunday afternoon as the Huskies and Cougars battle on the baseball diamond. Washington State in front 3-2. As we go to the bottom of the fourth, Jacob Clem on in relief of Austin Voth will get 8, 9, and 1 in the Cougar order. It'll be shortstop Trace Tam Singh, followed by center fielder Kyle Johnson and second baseman Cody Bartlett. Clem into the wind, and the first pitch of the bottom of the fourth is grounded weakly to the right side. Second baseman Jacob Lamb will field it on a couple of hops and make the throw in time. 1 pitch, 1 down here in the bottom of the fourth. Sort of an adventure last inning.
The center fielder, number 1, Kyle Johnson.
As the Huskies commit a couple of errors and allow an unearned run to score. They trail it 3-2. Here's Kyle Johnson, the ninth hitter, the center fielder. Here's the pitch on the way by Clem, and that's at the letters, strike 1. Both teams yielding to their bullpen. Clem not in relief of both, and Leckenby in relief of Wise here in the fourth. Here's the wind and the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Little change up that time, and Johnson swinging over it. 0-2 the count. Kyle Johnson 0 for 1. He popped up a bunt to the pitcher back in the second. He's behind 0-2 here. Clem into the wind, and here's the pitch. And that's a slider low and away. And the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Again, the flags limp here at Bailey Brayton Field. They were really starched out, gusting out to right field in each of the first 2 games of this series, but very calm conditions here today. on the Palouse. Here's the wind and the 1-2. Chopped weakly back to the mound. Clem off to the third base side will glove it and throw in time to get Johnson by a step. A couple of ground outs here, and there are quickly 2 down in the bottom of the 4th. Huskies will take on Stanford in Palo Alto Friday, Saturday, and Sunday next up. We will not be on the air for those games, but of course you can find out via GoHuskies.com and the game tracker there. And then our next games here on AM 1150 KKNW and on GoHuskies.com will be the following weekend, May 13th, 14th, 15th, at home in Seattle against Oregon State. And again, that May 13th game on Friday will be at Safeco Field. Make sure to check that out. Here's Cody Bartlett, the leadoff hitter for the Cougars, as the lineup turns over, and the first pitch on the way by Clem is down and away for ball 1. Bartlett 1 for 2, doubled and scored back in the first, struck out swinging in the second. He's got a .331 average on the year with a home run and 18 batted in. The 1-0 is chopped foul at the plate. The count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, ticket information for that game on May 13th at Safeco Field against Oregon State, 206-543-2200, or online at GoHuskies.com. Helicopter flying overhead here in Pullman. There's the 1-1 on the way. That's down and away. Ball 2, 2-1 the count. Got a lot of activity in and around campus this weekend. Concert shows and conventions. Commencement ceremonies will happen next weekend here. Here's the wind and the 2-1. And that's at the knees. Strike 2 called. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Bartlett. 2 out, nobody on. Bottom of the 4th. Huskies trail it 3-2. Cougars getting 1 in each of the first, second, and third at bats. Dogs getting 1 in the first and 1 in the 4th. And here in the bottom of the 4th, Clem into the wind and the 2-2. And that one's weakly popped up toward the middle. It'll be Afner behind the bag at second to make the catch, and it's about as routine of an inning as you can get. 1, 2, 3 go the Cougars here in the bottom of the 4th off of Jacob Clem, who didn't allow a ball out of the infield. And as we go to the 5th after 4 complete, it's the Cougars 3, the Huskies 2.
Hey fans, you already know Round Table Pizza is a great place to take the family. Keep them in mind when it comes to your year-end sports banquets, whether it's t-ball, soccer, or any sport. The Eastside Round Tables can host banquet meetings, parties of all sizes, and of course, you'll always receive the best pizza in town. In Overlake, Woodinville, and Issaquah, there's a Round Table near you.
Hurry into your local Round Table Pizza in Overlake, Woodinville, or Issaquah and ask for your free Husky glass. Available while supplies last.
We all need advice sometimes. When it comes to your vision, talk to people who've been there. They'll point you to UW Medicine Eye Institute at Harborview, like Dave Larson, whose glaucoma was caught and treated early, or Monica Lowe, who thanks to refractive surgery can finally see without glasses. People across our region trust their vision to the UW Medicine Eye Institute. UW Medicine Health System. From here, we change the world. Request an appointment and read more stories at uwmedicine.org/stories.
Top of the 5th here in Pullman, 3-2. Cougars in front of the Huskies as Washington tries to salvage the 3rd and final game of this series. Washington State taking the first 2 by scores of 5-2 and 11-6 respectively. And as we go to the top of the 5th, it'll be the heart of the Husky order, 3, 4, and 5 against Cougar reliever J.D. Leckenby. Jacob Lamb, the Husky second baseman, hitting 3rd. Then it'll be cleanup hitter Troy Scott, right fielder Chase Anselmans. So Leckenby ready to go. Here's the wind and the pitch on the way to Lamb, and that's low and away, trickling away off the glove of Ponciano, the catcher. 1-0 the count. Lamb 0 for 2 with a pop-up to short and a strikeout swinging. Average sitting at .333 on the year. 2 home runs, 22 batted in. Here's the 1-0, and that's inside with a fastball. And it's now 2 balls, no strikes. Sun darting in and out behind those huge cumulus clouds here on the Palouse. Temperatures right around 60 degrees they expect today. Here's the 2-0, and that's down low, ball 3. And Leckenby missing the zone on his first 3 attempts against Lamb here in the top of the 5th. Huskies trailing just by 1, 3-2. Troy Scott in the on-deck circle. Leckenby, the freshman out of Idaho, with a 3-0 pitch on the way, taking all the way is Lamb, and he takes it at the knees for strike one. Now we'll see if Jacob can get something he can handle here. Second baseman Bartlett out in the right field area there, defending him deep. Here's the 3-1. Swinging a ball, chopped foul at the plate, and now the count goes full to 3 balls, 2 strikes. Huskies 3-11 in the Pac-10. Cougars at 5-12. Here's the wind and the payoff pitch on the way. Down and in, ball 4. And Lamb draws a leadoff walk here in the top of the 5th, and the Huskies have the tying run on base.
That was the second baseman, number 18, Jacob Lamb.
So here's Troy Scott.
Huskies, number 32, the third baseman, Troy Scott.
Scott, 1 for 1 with an RBI double and a walk. And prior to his 2 plate appearances today was just 1 for 9 in the series, but he had a nice RBI double and then able to draw the walk. He's been on base in his 2 plate appearances so far today. The stretch by Lamb and the pitch on the way to Scott inside, ball 1. And now here comes a visit from the Cougar dugout. Leckenby will get a talking to. Scott defensively has committed 2 errors and did so in 1 inning. Back in the 3rd, which is a rarity. He's only had 6 errors all year long at third base. He commits 2 in 1 inning, leading to an unearned run being scored by the Cougars. That's the margin by which they lead, 3-2 here in the top of the 5th. But the Huskies with a tying run on. Lamb walked on 6 pitches. And now Scott, the count in his favor, 1 ball, no strikes. A meeting adjourned at the mound, and Leckenby will toe the slab yet again. Scott, left-handed hitter, another left-handed bat in the on-deck circle, and Husky right fielder Chase Anselman. Double play depth up the middle defensively with Tam Singh at short, Bartlett at second. Here's the stretch by Leckenby, and the pitch on the way to Junior, and that's popped up foul out of play over the third base dugout. So the count evens 1 ball, 1 strike. Washington does have 1 home run in this series. It was a solo home run in yesterday's game by Chase Anselman. Cougars have hit 5 home runs in this series, including a solo shot today by their DH Brett Jacobs. Here's the 1-1. And that's hit foul out of play over the third base side again, and the count moves to 1 ball and 2 strikes. Oregon in front of California, 4-1, bottom of the 4th in Berkeley. USC in front of Arizona, 5-2, bottom of the 4th in Tucson. And Arizona State in front of Stanford, 3-1, bottom of the 3rd from Tempe, elsewhere in the conference. Here's the 1-2, and again hit foul up and out of play. Not to mention they're just underway. Jackie Robinson Stadium as UCLA and Oregon State in a scoreless tie in the 2nd. Here it's 3-2. Cougars in front of the Huskies, top of the 5th. Huskies with a runner on, the tying run over at first, nobody out, and a 1-2 count to Troy Scott, the cleanup hitter. Long series of signals in from Ponciano. Leckenby finally gets up to the stretch very slowly as the pitch it's lifted toward left center. A little blooper, but coming in the left fielder Clausen, and he makes the catch. So Scott trying to go the other way, Clausen ranging over and making the play, and there's 1 down here in the 5th. That'll bring up right fielder Chase Anselman.
The right fielder, number 1, Chase Anselman.
Anselman 0 for 2, lined out to left, lined out to right. He had a bases-loaded 2-out situation in the 3rd and hit it right on the screws. That took Jones back in front of the track to make the catch on the run. So he's hit the ball well, but doesn't have anything to show for it so far. Here's the pitch on the way, and that's a fastball, a little bit low, ball 1. Anselman's a nice series in terms of striking the ball. He had an opposite field double in Friday's game, and then had a solo home run that he pulled to right in yesterday's game. And again, has stung the ball pretty nicely in his first 2 at-bats here, despite being 0 for 2. Lamb takes the lead. Runner goes. Pitch on the way is inside. Lamb sliding into second base. Throw on the way is bobbled. Not in time. Lamb has to climb over the shortstop, Tam Singh, as he got knocked off the bag momentarily. But when the dust settles, it'll be a stolen base for Jacob Lamb, and the Huskies have the tying runner in position with just 1 down. Lamb, the ball, and Tam Singh all got there simultaneously, and they got tangled up like a pretzel there. And as Lamb was kind of pushed off the bag, Tam Singh had that ball dribble away from him. He had to leap over him to make sure he still had contact with the pillow at second, and he did. The count, meanwhile, goes to 2-0 to Anselmans. Here's the stretch by Leckenby. And the 2-0, swinging a ball hit foul down the line at third and all the way into the corner in left field. That ball just wide of the line where Argyropoulos was playing, and the count goes to 2-1. So for Lamb, that'll be stolen base number 2 on the season in as many attempts. A 2-1 count to Anselman, again with a tying run in position here in the top of the 5th. Leckenby, long drawn-out motion, now goes to the stretch, and the 2-1 pitch on the way, ground ball to the left side. Tam Singh will field it in the hole, make the long throw in time to get Anselman by a step, and there are 2 down. On the play, Lamb going down to third, so it'll be up to catcher B.K. Santee with 2 down and a runner on third here in the top of the 5th.
He's the catcher number 8, B.K. Santee.
Santee 1 for 2. Last time out, led off the 4th with a double into the gap in left center. He came around to score the second run of the game for the Dogs. Now looking for a little 2-out magic here with a tying run. Lamb just 90 feet away at third. Santee hitting from the right side. 3-2 game here in the top of the 5th. Leckenby the stretch, the look at third. Lamb not being held, of course. And the pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Down and in, went fishing, and came up empty-handed. 0-1 the count. Santee not wasting any time. He's not going to call time and take some warm-up cuts. He's ready to go. So is Leckenby. Here's the stretch in the 0-1. Swinging a base hit into right field, and that'll tie the game. Coming in from third is Lamb. He will score on a sharp single in between first and second by B.K. Santee, and we are tied at 3. That was a gorgeous piece of hitting by Santee. The RBI single the other way, and it's now a brand new ball game, a 3-3 contest. For Santee, that's RBI number 10. And that will, of course, score Lamb from third, a run-scoring single. Santee now 2 for 3 with a single, a double, and a run batted in. And here's Eric Peterson, the Husky first baseman. Pitch on the way, and that's lined into right field for a base hit. Santee will round second and motor on to third, and the Huskies now have the go-ahead run just 90 feet away. Peterson first pitch swinging, and he rifles one into right. Santee down at third with 2 down here in the top of the 5th. Back-to-back singles by B.K. Santee and Eric Peterson, and the Huskies with runners on the corners and 2 down here in a 3-3 ball game. That is the 8th hit of the afternoon for the Dogs.
Spencer Rogers.
So here's designated hitter Spencer Rogers. Peterson also now 2 for 3. Infield single last time up, and here he gets one into right field for the 8th hit of the afternoon as a team, and now a 3-3 game, and the Huskies with a go-ahead run just 90 feet away with Santee at third. Here's the pitch on the way, and that one's down low for ball 1. Spencer Rogers, the DH. He, last time up, a sacrifice fly to left that scored Santee. Got himself a run batted in, also struck out swinging back in the second. Runners at the corners here in a 3-3 game in the top of the 5th. Here's the stretch. And Leckenby's 1-0 pitch on the way is swung on and chopped foul behind the plate, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. A little 2-out rally for the Dogs. Lamb led the inning off with a walk, able to steal second, and then after a fly out and a ground out, a single by Santee, a single by Peterson, and we are tied with runners on the corners now. In a 3-3 contest here in the top of the 5th. 2 down and a 1-1 count to Rogers. Again, the runners take their leads. Here's the stretch by Leckenby. And the 1-1 on the way. Swing and a ground ball chopped out to second base, routinely fielded, and a throw in in time by the second baseman Bartlett. Put out 4-3, side retired, but not before the Huskies get one to tie it up. And as we go to the bottom of the fifth, 4.5 in the books. Huskies 3, Cougars 3.
1 run.
Whether you're a homeowner or contractor, your next building or remodeling project is only going to be as good as the products you use. That's why every project should start with a visit to Limbach Lumber Company in Ballard or online at limbachlumber.com. You'll find a large selection of millwork, decking, and lumber, and a very knowledgeable and helpful staff. Since 1930, Limbach Lumber, quality lumber, and personalized service.
A manager relies on a series of signs to send his message to the players on the field. Your business needs more than hand signals to get its message out. That's why business leaders throughout the area rely on Tubart Group. From the initial design to final installation, their knowledgeable staff can show you the most creative solutions to fit your needs and your budget. So call the pros the Huskies use, the design experts at Tubart Group at 206-223-1122 or log on to www.tubart.com.
Bottom of the fifth we go. The Huskies getting one in the top half of the frame to even the score at 3 apiece. Jacob Clem out of the Husky pen warming it up here before he faces 2, 3, and 4 in the Cougar order. It'll be left fielder Patrick Clausen, followed by right fielder Derek Jones, and then the cleanup hitter, first baseman Taylor Ard. Play-by-play brought to you in part on AM 1150 KKNW by RWA Electric for all of your electrical needs. By Mitchell Moving and Storage, dependable quality service since 1952. By the North Lake Tavern, where dog fans have celebrated for 57 years. And by Eastside Automotive and Tire, you deserve to work with a champion. 3-3 game as we go to the bottom of the fifth. Here's Patrick Clausen, the Cougar left fielder, reached on an error and scored last time up in the third. Clem's first pitch on the way is a slow breaking ball that drifts outside for ball 1. Clausen 0 for 2 with a run scored. He popped to short, and again, back in that third, reached on an error and came around to score. 3-3 game here in the bottom of the fifth. Here's Clem's wind, and the Husky right-hander's 1-0 on the way is outside for ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Clem allowing the unearned run in the third. Came on in Friday's game and went 7 up, 7 down. 2 1/3 of hitless, scoreless relief in the 5-2 loss. The 2-0 is a little bit outside ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. As Clem falls behind Clausen here. Clausen, the left-handed hitter, again with the mammoth day yesterday. 4 for 5 with 5 runs batted in, 4 runs scored, 2 doubles, a single, and a bases-loaded triple in the game as the 3-0 pitch is taken at the knees for strike 1. And the count goes to 3-1. Yeah, Clausen and Jones, the 2 and 3 hitters in the Cougar order yesterday, combined to go 8 of 10 with 7 runs batted in that 11-6 win. Here's the wind in the 3-1. And that one at the knees. Strike 2 called. And now the count goes full, 3-2. Quick little look back by Clausen, the home plate umpire, Larry Randall. And Randall just points to the mound. Son, get back in there. It's a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the wind by Clem, and the payoff pitch on the way. Swinging a ball lifted foul up and out of play over the third base dugout. Derek Jones, the Cougar right fielder, in the on-deck circle. Outfield straightaway, infield back. Nobody on, nobody out. First hitter of the bottom of the fifth. Another 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Clem got him looking, and 1 down. How about that? Clem was behind at 3-0, but he battled full and gets Clausen looking for strike 3. 1 down here in the bottom of the fifth. Oh, and slider. Boom. Got him with a fastball. 1 down. So here's Derek Jones, the Cougar right fielder, and the first pitch on the way by Clem, a slow breaking ball, cut on and missed. Jones half waving at that ball for strike 1. Boy, he was sitting fastball, and he got that slow bender. Tried to stop his swing halfway, and he ended up just kind of chopping at it. Here's the wind by Clem, and the 0-1 on the way, and that one's ripped out to first base, but Peterson is there to field it on the ground behind the bag. He'll go to the bag himself, and there are quickly 2 down here in the bottom of the fifth. So Clem doing a nice job here riding the ship.
Number 35, Taylor R.
After that kind of wild third inning where the unearned run was scored, Clem is 6 up, 6 down in his last 6 batters faced. He's got Taylor Ard, the cleanup hitter, now with 2 out, nobody on in the bottom of the 5th. Clem into the wind, kicks and deals. Breaking ball, strike 1. Ard has a couple of runs batted in. He's 1 for 2 with a run-scoring single and an RBI groundout. And again now, 36 runs batted in. That's good enough for 5th in the conference as the 0-1 is way inside, down at the legs, the ankles. Ball 1, 1 ball and 1 strike the count. 36 runs batted in, the clear leader on the Cougar roster. No one even close to Ard, who takes advantage of that cleanup spot. 1-1 chopped foul at the plate, and the count moves to a ball and 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down. Bottom of the 5th, Huskies have tied it up, a 3-3 game. The Dogs try and salvage the finale of this 3-game series after falling 5-2 on Friday, 11-6 yesterday. And Clem with the count in his favor against Ard, a ball and 2 strikes. See what he dials up here. Clem nods yes, goes into the wide. Here comes the 1-2. Breaking ball swung on and missed, and Clem is cruising in the middle innings now. He has gotten the last 7 in a row and strikes out 2 of the 3 he faces here in the bottom of the 5th. We go to the top of the 6th after 5 complete in Pullman. Huskies 3, Cougars 3.
We all need advice sometimes. When it comes to your vision, talk to people who've been there. They'll point you to UW Medicine Eye Institute at Harborview, like Dave Larson, whose glaucoma was caught and treated early, or Monica Lowe, who thanks to refractive surgery can finally see without glasses. People across our region trust their vision to the UW Medicine Eye Institute. UW Medicine Health System. From here, we change the world. Request an appointment and read more stories at uwmedicine.org/stories.
As you enjoy baseball season, think about the game that is life. Are you in shape financially to play beyond the 5th inning? What would happen if your life went into extra innings? At Edward Jones, we have a lineup of financial solutions to help you through the game of life. Tax advantage investments to increase retirement savings in the case of extra innings. Long-term care insurance to help with some of life's errors. And life insurance to prepare for the final tally.
To learn more, call All Century team member Dwayne Covey at 206-524-0050. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Top of the 6th from Bailey Brayton Field. 3-3 ball game here on a Sunday afternoon. Dogs and Cougs, rivalry renewed on the baseball diamond here. And so far, the homestanding Cougars have the advantage. Winning the first 2 of this series, Huskies trying to fight and at least salvage one of these 3. Good crowd here on a Sunday afternoon, I beg your pardon. And it'll be Ty Afner, the Husky shortstop, to lead things off. And then the lineup turns over to leadoff man Brendan Gardner-Young and left fielder Joe Meggs. J.D. Leckenby on in relief for yet another inning of work here in the top of the 6th. Here's the wind and the first pitch to After, squaring to bunt and taking a fastball up and in as he takes the bat away and ducks out for ball 1. After 1 for 2 with an opposite field single and a fly out to right. A right-handed hitting shortstop for the Dogs. Leckenby into the wind, kicks and deals. And that's inside ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Yesterday at the ballgame, we saw Cougar men's basketball coach Ken Bone in attendance. Here's the wind and the 2-0 on the way. That gets a piece of After just skimming his leg, and he will be awarded first base. So a hit batter, and the Huskies have the go-ahead run on here in the top of the 6th, and that might be it for Leckenby coming out of the mound. And either this will be a brief conversation or they will draw it out and come out with a hook. Yeah, they're going to make the decision right now. That's it for Leckenby. The Cougars have seen enough of him, so he's going to be pulled from this game in the top of the 6th. Huskies have the leadoff man on, a 3-3 game. Cougars make the pitching change here in the top of the 6th. Again, the score tied at 3, and while the Cougars make the pitching change, we'll take this 2-minute timeout.
Hey, Lewis. Did you see my proposal to Horizon Air and Alaska Airlines?
So what about you wanting to identify all the Huskies and Cougars flying Alaska and Horizon out of Seattle?
Yeah.
So that Alaska and Horizon can designate one side of the aisle for Huskies.
And the other side for Cougars.
Yeah, who wouldn't see the brilliance of that?
Do you know how many Huskies and Cougars fly together each day from Seattle? Well, what better way to bring them together?
How about the football game?
Lewis, Alaska and Horizon serve Seattle with the most flights to the most cities. And seated across from each other, before long, Huskies and Cougars will realize, hey, we're not so different.
Feel the love.
Harmony, not rivalry.
I think we need to test your theory.
Yeah?
I'll sit here, and you go sit somewhere else.
Alaska Airlines and Horizon Air offer more flights to more cities from Seattle than any other airline in the Northwest. Find the lowest fares on Alaska and Horizon at alaskaair.com.
Are you thinking that old mower of yours just won't cut it this year? Then call the pros at Aurora Lawnmower. They specialize in small gas engine repair, including tune-ups and blade sharpening. Your mower will look and act like new for a fraction of the cost. They also sell state-of-the-art equipment and new brands like Toro, Snapper, Honda, and Steel. For 40 years of unbeatable value, call 206-783-0200 or drop by. They're just 1.5 blocks north of Green Lake. Aurora Lawnmower, on the cutting edge of technology.
When my roof needed repairs, I didn't know where to turn. With so many roofing companies, how could I choose? Then a friend told me about MCR Roofing. She said they offer top-notch service at an affordable price. They use eco-friendly solutions and provide pressure washing, roof maintenance, gutter cleaning, leak repairs, and skylight installation. She also said they do general remodeling, including kitchens, bathrooms, and additions. I'm glad I chose MCR Roofing. You will be too. Find out more at badroofnomore.com.
We resume play with left-handed junior Spencer Jackson out of Aurora, Colorado, taking the mound for the Cougars, Washington State and Washington in a 3-3 tie here in the top of the sixth. Cougars went to the bullpen, and they bring Jackson in to face Brendan Gardner-Young, a left-handed hitter against a left-handed arm. Runner on first is Afner, who was hit by a pitch. Pitch on the way to Gardner-Young, squaring to bunt and bunting foul. That one got a piece of Ponciano on a foul tip. He's going to have to take a little walk and walk that one off. 0-1 the count. So Leckenby just barely skims Afner, the ninth hitter for the Dogs, to lead off the top of the sixth here, and he's immediately lifted in favor of Jackson. Jackson appeared in yesterday's game, pitched an inning of hitless, scoreless relief. And again, the left-handed junior out of Aurora, Colorado, Spencer Jackson. 0-2 with an ERA of 12.27. Scoring to bunt again is Gardner-Young. Instead, it'll be a throw to first, and Afner stumbles back to the bag in time. 3-3 ball game, top of the sixth. Huskies with a go-ahead runner on via the hit batter. And Jackson becomes the third pitcher used today by Donnie Marbut. Again, Gardner-Young squares to bunt. Here comes the pitch on the way by Jackson, and this one is bunted foul, and Gardner-Young not happy with himself. Now the count goes to 0-2 strikes. Husky left fielder Joe Meggs on deck. 3-8-3 for the Huskies. 3-4-1 for the Cougars. 3-3 game here in the top of the sixth. Huskies with a runner on first with nobody out, but an 0-2 count now on Gardner-Young. See what he can do here in the hole. Pitch on the way outside for ball one. Gardner-Young doing a great job last at bat. He was down 0-2 and ended up drawing a walk in the fourth. Also a sacrifice bunt and a strikeout, so he's only 0-1 officially on the day. A ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch on the way. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball. Strike 3. So Jackson comes on and strikes out the first batter he faces. And now with 1 down and 1 on here in the sixth, here's left fielder Joe Meggs.
Fielder number 40, Joe Meggs.
Meggs 2 for 3 with a run scored. Singled and scored in the first, singled in the third, and grounded to second in the fourth. But again, 8 hits in this series over a 3-game set. You do the math. That's getting it done. This one's lined into right center field for a base hit, and down to second base goes Afner. 3 hits in each game this series, and Meggs again getting his 3rd hit today, only here in the top of the 6th. Down to second goes Hafner. Meggs, a 3-for-4 day again already this afternoon. Ninth hit of the day for the Huskies. Meggs 3-for-4 on Friday, 3-for-5 yesterday, now 3-for-4 already today. And the Huskies in business. Runners on first and second. And only one down. Here's Jacob Lamb, the Huskies second baseman. The stretch by Jackson and the pitch on the way is a fastball outside for ball one. 3-3 game in the top of the sixth. And the Huskies sending the heart of the order up with Lamb, the third hitter in the order, followed by Troy Scott in the on-deck circle with 2 on, 1 out. Hafner down leading off the bag at second. Meggs over at first, neither of which being held. A little cat and mouse game between Tam Singh and Hafner as the pitch on the way is a little bit of high. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes to Lamb. Lamb walked, stole a base, and scored last time up in the fifth. Also popped up and struck out. He's 0 for 2 with a run and a stolen base. But he's got the count in his favor. 2 balls, no strikes against a fellow southpaw in Spencer Jackson. Here's the stretch by Jackson. The look back to Hafner and the pitch on the way. On the outside corner. Strike one called with a fastball. 2 balls, 1 strike. Lamb looking back to the dugout. Lindsey Meggs going through a series of signals. 2-1 the count to Jacob. Here's the stretch by Jackson. And the 2-1. And that's popped up. Foul ground behind the bag at first. It's going to be a long run. And over in the corner, a beautiful catch made by Bartlett in foul territory. On the play, tagging at second is Hafner, moving down to third, and over the shoulder catch in foul territory down the line and right by Bartlett. And there is quickly 2 down. That was a beautiful catch in foul territory that certainly could impact this inning and maybe this game as Lindsey Meggs coming out of the dugout. And now we'll go check on Hafner down at third. I'm not quite certain the nature of the injury. I was watching the play after tagged and went all the way down to third, and now they're taking a look at him kind of grabbing behind his right leg. Might be a hamstring. You don't want to speculate on the nature of any injury outside of what I see. He's kind of flexing that leg and grabbing his hind quarter right there, massaging that hamstring. He'll be taken a look at by the Husky training staff and also Lindsey Meggs. And he will stay in the game. So runners on the corners, 2 down here in the top of the sixth. To put a star next to the play, turned in by Cody Bartlett, the second baseman, on a ball hit high and foul outside the bag at first, and essentially in short right field in foul territory behind the line. It's a long run for a second baseman, and he made the play. So now Troy Scott, the hitter. Huskies have the go-ahead run just 90 feet away. Hafner's good enough to go. He'll stay in the game. Meggs still at first, and here's Troy Scott, the Husky cleanup hitter. Scott 1 for 2 today with a run-scoring double. First pitch on the way is a slider strike on the outside corner. Nice deal there by Jackson, who is ahead 0-1. Scott, the RBI double back into second, walked into third, and a fly out in the fifth. He's 1 for 2 without a run-scoring double. Hafner at third, Meggs at first. Here's the pitch, and that's on the outside corner with a fastball, strike 2. 3-3 game here in the top of the sixth. Hafner just 90 feet away, but with 2 down and an 0-2 count, Scott going to have to work his way out of a hole. Here's the stretch by Jackson, and the left-hander's 0-2 pitch down and away. Good purpose pitch there. 1 ball and 2 strikes to count, but Scott not offering at the plate. Cougars get 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third. Huskies got 1 in the first, 1 in the fourth, and 1 in the fifth. And we got a 3-3 game here in the top of the sixth. Here's the stretch and the 1-2. And that's a little bit outside. Not by much. Count should read 2-2. on the board, and it does. And the count evens after Scott fell behind at 0-2. Hafner at third. Meggs leading off first. Here's the stretch. And the 2-2 pitch is way outside, ball 3. In fact, Ponciano saved a run by lurching over toward the other batter's box and barely getting a glove on it. And the count goes full at 3-2. So Meggs will take off from first with 2 down and a full count. After Scott fell behind 0-2, he has gone full. 3-2 the count. Here's the stretch. Meggs will take off from first, and the pitch on the way hit high and foul and out of play down the left field line. So Meggs will take a U-turn and head back to first, and the count remains full. Top of the 6th in a 3-3 game. Full count, runners on the corners for the Dogs, and Scott, the cleanup hitter, ready to go. Again, the stretch by Jackson, and another payoff pitch on the way, and that is down low, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Meggs down to second, Scott over at first, and that brings up right fielder Chase Anselman. Nice job by Scott. Scott was down 0-2, and again, he's able to draw the walk after fouling off a 3-2 pitch. Nicely done. Scott at first, Meggs at second, Hafner at third, Anselman at the plate, and now Jackson will go into the wind. And the pitch on the way is a fastball on the outside corner. Strike 1. Anselman has struck the ball well with nothing to show for it. 0 for 3 on the day. A couple of lineouts and a ground out. Again from the wind, Jackson will go. Kicks and deals. And this one a little bit outside. Ball 1. A little off-speed delivery. And the count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. They are really deep on the right side here with 2 down, and Anselman, the left-handed hitter, at the plate. Defensively are the Cougars. Long series of signals. Here's the wind by Jackson and the 1-1. And that's fouled straight back against the screen. And the count goes to 1-2. Anselman was all over that pitch, just fouled it straight back. So a ball and 2 strikes, 2 down here in the top of the 6th, and a 3-3 tie. Huskies with the bases loaded. And Anselman ready to go. So is Jackson, the left-hander. He'll go out of the windup. Here's the wind, and the 1-2 pitch on the way, low and outside, ball 2 on a slider. Anselman did not go fishing. 2-2 the count. Huskies trying to get one of these 3 this weekend after dropping the first 2 on Friday and Saturday. 3-3 game here in the top of the 6th. Bases loaded, 2 down, and a 2-2 count to Anselman. Here's the wind, and the 2-2 chopped foul at the plate. And the count will remain 2 balls, 2 strikes. Great battle here between Anselman, the left-handed hitter for the Dogs, and the lefty Spencer Jackson, the junior out of Aurora, Colorado, on the mound for the Cougs. Runners take their leads. Hafner from third, Meggs from second, Scott from first. Here's the signal by Ponciano. A wind by Jackson. Another 2-2 pitch swing, and this one's lifted to left field and fairly deep. Going toward the line over in the corner, and the left fielder, and not able to make a play in foul territory is Clausen. That one hopped out of play right in front of the 3:30 marker in foul territory down the line and left. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Good juice off the bat of Anselman as that one bounced in the corner in foul territory at the wall. And everyone will retreat to their posts, and we'll do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jackson ready to go. Anselman digging in. Here we go again. Here's the wind, and another 2-2 pitch on the way. Swinging a ball, fouled straight back over our head and out of play. What a battle between Anselman and Jackson here in the 6th. Both dugouts leaning over the railing atop the steps. Looking on in anticipation. Another 2-2 pitch forthcoming. Here's the wind, and the delivery on the way. Outside, ball 3, and the count goes full. Runners will move with 2 down here in the top of the 6th. Something's got to happen here with a 3-2 count, 2 down. 3-3 game here in the top of the 6th. Bases loaded for the Dogs. Runners will break with 2 down. After from third, Meggs from second, Scott from first. Here's the wind. The runners take off. The payoff pitch, swinging a ground ball to the right side. It'll be picked up by the first baseman, Ard, and he'll go to the bag himself. And Jackson wiggles off the hook. Huskies threaten. But as we go to the bottom of the 6th, it's still a tie game after 5.5. It's the Huskies 3 and the Cougars 3.
Everyone wants to be healthy. Your friends at General Nutrition Center in Factoria Mall, Bellevue can help. They offer a wide variety of products for a healthy lifestyle. Whatever your goal is, bring it to GNC in Factoria Mall. Their staff is friendly and knowledgeable and will help you find the right products to suit your budget, your lifestyle, and your healthcare needs. Ask about their membership program and save 20% all year long. That's GNC at Factoria Mall in Bellevue. Proud Husky supporters.
Neighbors are great sources of advice. It's no different when it comes to your health. You just need to talk to the right neighbor. Like your UW Neighborhood Clinic, part of the UW Medicine Health System. Take it from Steph Walker, who breathes easier without the bronchitis. Or the Renoir family, whose girls have their annual checkup every November. You'll find 7 UW Neighborhood Clinics across the Puget Sound region. UW Medicine Health System. From here, we change the world. Read more stories at uwmedicine.org/stories.
Bottom of the 6th in Pullman. Steve Sandmeyer with you as the Husky baseball team in a 3-3 contest against their rival Cougars in the 3rd and final game here at Bailey Brayton Field. Jacob Clem continues to take his warm-up tosses. Clem has been brilliant out of the Husky bullpen. Allowed an unearned run in his first inning of work in the 3rd, but is in the process of 7 consecutive in which he hasn't allowed a ball out of the infield, and has fanned 3 of the last 7 he's faced in that 7-up, 7-down run against the Cougar hitters. He'll face the 5, 6, and 7 Washington State batters. It'll be third baseman Matt Argyropoulos, followed by catcher Jay Ponciano and designated hitter Brett Jacobs. 3-3 game as we go to the bottom of the 6th. And Argyropoulos the hitter. Argyropoulos 0 for 2. Last time up reaching base on one of 2 errors committed today by third baseman Troy Scott, and the first pitch hits him. And now he's going to be called back to first because home plate umpire Larry Randall says he didn't do a good enough job of getting out of the way. Or do we have a warning? Donnie Marvett pretty animated with home plate umpire Larry Randall. And indeed, Argyropoulos is going to be recalled to the plate. And meanwhile, the Huskies have made a switch defensively as After, who again they were looking at his hamstring or the back of his leg in the top half of the frame, has been taken out of the game. So Lamb will move from second to short, and Reggie Jones will go into second base. Jones will hit in After's spot and play second. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way to Argyropoulos, and that's down and away, ball 2. So Argyropoulos tried to wear that pitch, and home plate umpire Larry Randall said that he didn't do a good enough job of getting out of the way. 2 balls, no strikes. Here's the wind by Clem, and the pitch on the way is lifted to left field and deep. Back on the ball, though, is Meggs, and he'll camp underneath it and make the play. Good jump off the batted ball by Meggs in left, and he catches the liner. 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th. So again, Jones is in for After.
Catcher Jay Ponciano.
Lamb will move from second to short, and Jones out at second base defensively for the Huskies. And here's Ponciano, the catcher. Here's the wind and the pitch on the way. Swinging a ball hit foul up and out of play. So, indeed, the streak is still alive. That's now 8 up, 8 down for Clem. It looked like that streak would be broken when Argyropoulos was hit, but Larry Randall didn't think Argyropoulos did enough to get out of the way, and he ends up lining out to left. So that's 8 in a row. That's the first ball out of the infield in 8 batters that Argyropoulos just hit on the line out to left. Here's the 0-1 on the way, and this one's popped up shallow left field going over toward the line, and Meggs is there. He's underneath it, and quickly 2 down here in the 6th. 9 up, 9 down for Jacob Clem right now, who is cruising. 2 down in the bottom of the 6th.
Number 15, Brett Jacobs.
That'll bring up Brett Jacobs, the Cougar DH. He is 1 for 2 with a solo home run and a strikeout. The home run, his second of the year, back in the second. Here's the pitch on the way by Clem, and that's a breaking ball chopped to third. It'll be short hop by Scott. He'll square up and make the throw. 1, 2, 3. Story here in the 6th. And that's 9 up, 9 down for Jacob Clem out of the Husky bullpen. How about it? We're through 6 in Pullman. We go to the top of the 7th. It's still the Huskies 3 and the Cougars 3.
Is your family making a retirement living decision? Consider Norse Home Retirement and Assisted Living. Norse Home is a not-for-profit continuing care community on Fitty Ridge, serving Seattle with compassionate care for 50 years. Come for their monthly Sunday brunch and discover their quality services, sterling reputation, and fabulous location with $1 million view. Plus, enjoy free breakfast. Find out more at norsehome.org. Norse Home Retirement and Assisted Living. There's no place like Norse Home.
This is Alternative Talk, 1150 AM, KKNW Seattle, and KLCK FM 98.9, Digital HD3 Seattle.
If your attic or crawl space has been damaged by smoke, water, mold, or rodents, the last thing you want to do is crawl around trying to clean it up. So call Clean Crawls. We specialize in crawl space cleanups for commercial and residential accounts. Whether it's lower crawls or attics, we feature insulation removal and installation, vapor barrier removal and replacement, and odor elimination and sanitizing. Let us know how we can help you. Find us online at cleancrawl.com.
A good ball game here in the finale of this 3-game series. Washington and Washington State Apple Cup on the baseball diamond. We go to the top of the 7th. The score tied at 3 apiece. Husky catcher B.K. Santee to lead things off for the Dogs. Off reliever Spencer Jackson here in the 7th. Santee having a good day at the plate. He's 2 for 3 with a single, a double, and a run batted in. And the first pitch on the way to Santee is a changeup that hits the outside corner. Strike 1. Santee doubled and scored in the 4th. A nice piece of hitting with an RBI single in the 5th. And facing the left-hander Jackson here in the 7th. Here's the wind of the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Another off speed. And Santee swung right through it. No balls, 2 strikes. 3, 9, and 3 for the Huskies. 3, 4, and 1 for the Cougars. Here's the wind by Jackson in the 0-2. And that's hit foul out of play over the right field side. Huskies 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th. Cougars got their 3 runs each of the first 3 frames, 1, 1, and 1. Here comes the 0-2. And that's chopped weakly to the right side, foul outside the bag at first, and the count stays at 0-2. It has gone to the bullpens. Both only went 2 innings. And Wise only went 3+, as both managers, Donnie Marvin of the Cougars and Lindsey Meggs of the Huskies, in Game 3 going to the pen early. Here's the 0-2, swing and a miss. Santee goes down on strikes. 1 down here in the 7th. And that brings up first baseman, I beg your pardon, Eric Peterson.
First baseman number 25, Eric Peterson.
Petey had a good day at the plate, too, and has had a good day. 2 for 3. Singled and stole a base in the 4th. Singled last time up in the 5th. Here's the pitch on the way, and that's a slider drifting high for ball 1. Also stole a base back in the 4th, just his second of the year. 3-3 game, 1 out, nobody on, top of the 7th. And the Husky first baseman awaits the 1-0. And that's hit foul out of play over the third base dugout. Again, a late arriving crowd, but a good crowd here. Just kind of fans have been drifting on in as this game has grown long. We're in the 7th in a 3-3 game. Glorious day here today. Easily the best weather out of all 3 days. Not even close. Here's the 1-1 on the way. And that's chopped foul of the plate off Peterson's shin. Have to hobble that one off. Kind of knocking that barrel of the bat onto that field turf surface of the home plate circle. That one's got a smart. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count. He'll stand back in there. Jackson, the left-handed pitcher. Peterson, the left-handed hitter. A ball and 2 strikes, 1 down here in the top of the 7th. Here's the wind and the pitch. And that's lifted to left field. Back a few steps, and this one's going to get over the head of the left fielder, Clausen. Rounding first and motoring into second is Peterson, and he's got himself a 1-out double here in the top of the 7th. That ball just carried, and Clausen could not get to it. Opposite field job on a 1-2 pitch to Peterson, and the Huskies have the go-ahead run in position with 1 out here in the top of the 7th. The 10th hit of the afternoon for the Huskies on a ball that just kept carrying the other way to left. And a nice job by Peterson, who racks up his 3rd hit of the day. And for Eric, that's double number 5 on the season. So with 1 down, Huskies will send a pinch hitter to the plate. Taking the bat away from Spencer Rogers, the left-handed bat against the left-handed arm of Jackson. It'll be Ryan Wiggins. So Wiggins comes in. It's a pinch hit here in the 7th with a runner on second and only 1 down. Reggie Jones on deck. He's batting in place of Ty Afner, who was lifted after suffering some sort of injury running the bases in the 6th. And now we've got a visit to the mound, and now the chess game continues as the Cougars going to go get a right-hander to face a right-handed pinch hitter, Ryan Wiggins. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. The score is the Huskies 3 and the Cougars 3. Washington with a runner on second with 1 down, and while the pitching change is made for the Cougars, we'll take this 2-minute timeout.
Pioneer Radio and Sports would like to thank the following businesses who are committed to customer service.
Today's Huskies broadcast is brought to you in part by James G. Murphy Company. See them on the web at murphyauction.com. By MCR Roofing. Bad roof? No more. By Emerald Cove Catering Company. Turn off the stove and call the Cove. By Clean Crawls. Excellence in serving people. And by Cedar Ridge Materials Incorporated. Spreading rock 1 driveway at a time.
Teams rely on their upperclassmen to lead the way. Their experience makes all the difference. When it comes to construction, you also need an experienced player on your team. Petra Construction, Inc. has served the Puget Sound with quality and professionalism since 1982. They can tackle most any earthwork project and take pride in getting the job done right the first time, on schedule, and within budget. Located in Redmond, they look forward to discussing your site work needs. Find out more at petraconstruction-inc.com.
Have you heard the saying, we don't do windows? Well, at Charlie's Window Cleaning, we do what you don't want it to. Windows. Inside and outside, we're your clear choice for quality residential and commercial window cleaning, roof and gutter cleaning, and pressure washing. In fact, our highest priority is providing you with sparkling customer service. Find us online at charlieswindowcleaning.com and look for our ad in the home bag.
To make it in this league, you need to give 100% of the time. Why would you expect anything less from your auto mechanic? The professionals at Seattle Auto Service Center are the area's leading automotive professionals. They feature ASE certified technicians, trained and certified to perform diagnosis, repair, and service on all systems of your automobile, truck, and SUV. For all your auto repair and maintenance needs, visit them at 6718 Roosevelt Way Northeast, or find out more at SeattleAutoServiceCenter.com.
Well, a right-handed reliever by the name of Anthony Drobnik completing his warm-up tosses. He's a redshirt sophomore out of Seattle Prep. Doing it for the Cougars today out of the bullpen. Will inherit a 1-out, 1-on situation here in the top of the 7th. 3-3 ball game as pinch hitter Ryan Wiggins will face the right-hander Drobnik with a runner on second. That being Eric Peterson with a 1-out opposite field double. So the 4th Cougar pitcher to be deployed by Donnie Marmot this afternoon is Drobnik, the redshirt sophomore out of Seattle Prep. The former Panther will take the mound for the Cougars here against Ryan Wiggins, the pinch hitter here in the 7th. 1 out, runner on second in a 3-3 game. Huskies at the plate. Here's the first pitch by Drobnik. It's a fastball at the knees. Strike 1. Drobnik making his appearance, the first in this series. He does not have a win-loss record with an ERA of 8.22, making his 13th appearance of the year. In 7 2/3 has allowed 13 hits, has walked 2 and has struck out 8. Here's the stretch and the 0-1. And that one's down low. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Huskies with 10 hits on the afternoon. Cougars with just 4. We're in a 3-3 tie here in the top of the 7th on a marvelous afternoon here in Pullman today. From what I understand, a glorious afternoon elsewhere around the Puget Sound region this Sunday, the 1st of May. Here's the stretch and the 1-1. And that's hit into right field for a base hit the other way. They're going to wave in Peterson from third. No, now they'll hold him up. A nice throw coming into the infield by the right fielder Jones, and he will hold up the base runner at third. But the Dogs with runners on the corners and only 1 down here in the top of the 7th. Nice piece of hitting by Wiggins going the other way and smoking it into right field, and an equally decent play by Jones, the Cougar right fielder, at the very last minute, forcing third base coach Dave Nakama to put on the stop sign, and rightfully so, as Peterson will hold at third. But the Huskies have the tying run at third, and they're going to send a pinch hitter to the plate. It'll be Brian Wolf to take the bat away from Reggie Jones, who was scheduled to hit here coming into the game for tie after. Wolf will pinch hit here in the 7th with 1 out and runners on the corners. Big situation here for the left-handed hitting Brian Wolf out of Snohomish. And now the chess game continues as out of the bullpen comes Donnie Marbut, and there comes the left-hander out of the Cougar pen. 3-3 game here on a Sunday afternoon. Runners on the corners, 1 down here in the top of the 7th, and while the Cougars make the pitching change, we'll take this 2-minute timeout.
The players on the field today didn't start their careers at the collegiate level. Thanks to their parents and coaches, they learned valuable skills through youth sports programs. The following sponsors encourage you to get your children involved: E&J Cabinets, Johnson's Auto Repair, Clean Crawls, and Bell Kirk Electric.
Installing, refinishing, or restoring your hardwood floors? Artisan Hardwood Floors provides the highest quality craftsmanship at the most affordable price. For generations, we've been working hard to earn your trust and exceed your expectations. We're experts in all types of hardwood services and specialize in the sweetest finish with a wide range of color and top finishes. Whether it's installation, sanding, refinishing, restoration, or stairwork, call 206-933-1703 or 425-644-9639 or go to artisanhardwoodfloors.com.
Neighbors are great sources of advice. It's no different when it comes to your health. You just need to talk to the right neighbor. Like your UW Neighborhood Clinic, part of the UW Medicine Health System. Take it from Steph Walker, who breathes easier without the bronchitis. Or the Renoir family, whose girls have their annual checkup every November. You'll find 7 UW Neighborhood Clinics across the Puget Sound region. UW Medicine Health System. From here, we change the world. Read more stories at uwmedicine.org/stories.
If your attic or crawl space has been damaged by smoke, water, mold, or rodents, the last thing you want to do is crawl around trying to clean it up. So call Clean Crawls. We specialize in crawl space cleanups for commercial and residential accounts. Whether it's lower crawls or attics, we feature insulation removal and installation, vapor barrier removal and replacement, and odor elimination and sanitizing. Let us know how we can help you. Find us online at cleancrawl.com.
Now the chess game continues here in the top of the 7th with 1 down. It looks like Brian Wolf won't see an at-bat after all. Willie Reel, the right-hander, to come in and bat against the left-handed closer Paris Shuey, the 5th Cougar pitcher to be deployed, as Wheel, the right-handed bat, will get the opportunity here in the 9-hole. Originally occupied by Afner, then it was Reggie Jones, and then Jones was lifted for Wolf, and now Reel will take over for Jones here in the 7th. Shuey, the left-handed closer for the Cougars, facing a 1-out, runners on the corners situation, and Willie Reel, the freshman out of Mercer Island, to get the at-bat. Pitch on the way, squares to bunt. It's a suicide, doesn't get it down, and they got Peterson caught up between third and home, and the tag is made on Peterson. Wow. 2 down here in the top of the 7th as the Huskies try the squeeze, and Peterson is nailed between third and home. That is a killer. Ponciano chasing him all the way down and applying the tag, and now 2 down on the play. Wiggins down to second, but now in a 3-3 game, 2 down and a runner on second, and an 0-1 count to Reel. Pitch was low. Wheel tried to get it down, could not. And Peterson was caught between third and home. And time is called, and Ponciano coming out from behind the plate. Huskies unable to get the squeeze play down on a very difficult pitch down in the dirt, and an interesting set of dynamics there as Peterson caught between third and home, now 2 down. The runner in position as at least Wiggins gets over to second. 0-1 the count to Reel. And Shuey, the left-handed closer, who has 8 saves on the year, ready to go. We're in the top of the 7th. Obviously a non-save situation here in a 3-3 game. Here's the 0-1, and that drifts outside. Ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Willie Reel, 8 of 44 on the year. And this is his first Pac-10 at bat. Here's the 1-1, and that's lined into right center for a base hit. Rounding third and coming in to score is Wiggins. Welcome to the Pac-10, Willie Reel. Huskies 4, Cougars 3, and they have broken through here in the top of the 7th. Oh, what a big moment for the true freshman out of Mercer Island. Going the other way into right center, and the Dogs are in front. It's the 12th hit of the afternoon as Reel goes the other way into right center to score Wiggins from second, easily running on contact with 2 down. How about it? Willie Reel putting the Huskies in front with a 2-out single here in the 7th. Here's the pitch on the way to the leadoff hitter, Brendan Gardner-Young. And the pitch is down low for ball 1. His first at-bat in Pac-10 play. Willie Reel with a run-scoring single after the failed suicide attempt, and the Huskies are in front. Here's the pitch on the way at 1-0, swing and a miss by Gardner-Young, and the count goes to 1-1. Can only imagine what that kid's feeling right now. Willie Reel, the freshman from Mercer Island, leading off the bag at first, as the Huskies in front 4-3 here in Pullman. Wheel goes, the pitch is outside, throw down to second base, off the leg of Tam Singh, the shortstop, and Wheel's got a stolen base, or Reel has a stolen base. Reel showing some wheels. So now the Huskies have another in position. And the count to a ball and 2 strikes on GY. Gardner-Young, the leadoff hitter. 0 for 2 with a sacrifice, a walk, couple of strikeouts. And Shuey, the left-handed closer, ready to go. The stretch and the pitch, and that's grounded toward the middle. Here comes the second baseman. Bartlett in, throws across the body. Not in time. Safe at first. The throw to the plate is Wheel trying to go. And he is out. Willie Reel tried to score all the way from second. He actually beat the throw, but then skimmed past the plate, and the tag was applied by the catcher Ponciano, and the side retired, and Lindsey Meggs out to talk with home plate umpire Larry Randall. A slow roller to the right side that was beaten out by Gardner-Young. Reel kept on going from third and actually beat the throw from first by Ard, but slid past the plate after tagging it. And when he tried to re-tag, he was knocked by Ponciano and tagged out, and the side retired. As Meggs continues to talk with Larry Randall, we'll take a timeout as the fans take their stretch here in the 7th. A wild top half of the 7th, but the Dogs get one in on an RBI single by Willie Reel that scored Ryan Wiggins. As the fans take their stretch, we go to the bottom of the 7th with the score, the Huskies 4 and the Cougars 3.
Hey fans, you already know Round Table Pizza is a great place to take the family. Keep them in mind when it comes to your year-end sports banquets, whether it's t-ball, soccer, or any sport. The Eastside Round Tables can host banquet meetings, parties of all sizes, and of course, you'll always receive the best pizza in town. In Overlake, Woodinville, and Issaquah, there's a Round Table near you.
Hurry into your local Round Table Pizza in Overlake, Woodinville, or Issaquah and ask for your free Husky glass, available while supplies last.
We all need advice sometimes. When it comes to your vision, talk to people who've been there. They'll point you to UW Medicine Eye Institute at Harborview, like Dave Larson, whose glaucoma was caught and treated early, or Monica Lowe, who thanks to refractive surgery can finally see without glasses. People across our region trust their vision to the UW Medicine Eye Institute, UW Medicine Health System. From here, we change the world. Request an appointment and read more stories at uwmedicine.org/stories.
We go to the bottom of the 7th in Pullman. Huskies in front 4-3. It'll be Jacob Clem against pinch hitter Nate Blackham. The first pitch misses outside for ball 1, and the second pitch on the way to Blackham is fouled up and behind the plate. The count evens 1 ball and 1 strike. So Blackham will pinch hit for Trace Tam Singh in the 8-hole. As Jacob Clem continues out of the Husky bullpen, having retired his last 9 in order since coming on in the 3rd, as the Huskies get 1 in the top of the 7th and have a lead for Clem at 4-3. Here's the wind and the 1-1, and that's outside, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike. A wild top of the 7th in which the Huskies botch a suicide attempt and are able to get a 2-out run-scoring single by pinch hitter Willie Reel, only to see the 3rd out of the inning recorded at the plate as Reel tried to score all the way from second on an infield single by Brendan Gardner-Young. The 2-1 pitch outside for ball 3, and Clem falls behind the pinch hitter Blackham at 3 balls and 1 strike. Here's Jacob into the wide, and the 3-1 on the way. And that one's hit to shallow center. Gardner-Young calling for it. He's underneath it, and he makes the catch, and that is 10 in a row retired by Jacob Clem out of the Husky bullpen. Final out in the 3rd and has them in order in innings 4, 5, and 6, and now has the first out here in the 7th.
Center fielder number 1, Kyle Johnson.
Here's Kyle Johnson, the center fielder. That's 11 in a row, not 10, Steve. Here's the pitch on the way to Johnson, and that's across the letters for a strike with a slider, 0-1. Final out in the 3rd, in order in the 4th, 5th, and 6th, and the first one here in the 7th. 11 up, 11 down for Clem out of the pen. 0-1 the count. Here's the wind of the pitch, and that's a slider a little bit outside, and the count evens 1 ball, 1 strike. 4-3, Huskies in front here in the bottom of the 7th with 1 down. Johnson, the 9th hitter in the order. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss, and the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. Kyle Johnson, the diminutive right-handed hitting center fielder, 0 for 2 with a pop-up to the mound on a bunt attempt and a ground back to the mound in the 4th. The ball and 2 strikes, Clem ready to go. Here's the wind by Jacob, and the 1-2. Swing and a miss, and that's a dozen in a row for Clem. 12 up, 12 down, including his 4th strikeout of the afternoon. And the former Burlington Edison product mowing him down here on a Sunday afternoon. And one has to wonder how much longer it will be before he re-enters the rotation for this team after recording 7 up, 7 down on Friday, and now 12 in a row here after that 3rd inning in which he allowed an unearned run. Here's a pitch on the way to the leadoff hitter Bartlett that's outside for ball 1. Bartlett is 1 for 3. Doubled to lead off the bottom of the 1st and scored in the 1st. Also struck out and popped up. The 1-0 pitch is chopped foul. Ouch, right off the kneecap of Bartlett. And the count evens at a ball and a strike and have to walk that one off. 4-3 game. Huskies in front. And a wild top of the 7th. It looked dire as the Huskies He had caught between third and home on a missed squeeze play. But then a 2-out run-scoring single by Willie Reel, scoring Ryan Wiggins. And then after an infield single, and Reel trying to score all the way from second, was thrown out of the plate. Here's the 1-1 on the way, and that one a little bit outside for ball 2. And to describe it in more detail, he beat that play, but tried to get back to the plate to tag it. He kind of had to go around to the catcher Ponciano on a throw that was wide on the third base side, and then when he tried to head back to tag the plate, that's when he was tagged out. The 2-1 swung on and missed by Bartlett, and Clem evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. But the damage was done. They already got one in. That was an attempt to get the second run and give a 2-run cushion, but as it stands, it's a 4-3 lead here in the bottom of the 7th. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Here's the wind by Clem, and the pitch on the way. Strike 3 called. A baker's dozen. 13 up, 13 down, and Clem is rolling. We go to the top of the 8th after 7 completed. Pullman, Huskies 4, Cougars 3.
Whether you're a homeowner or contractor, your next building or remodeling project is only going to be as good as the products you use. That's why every project should start with a visit to Lindback Lumber Company in Ballard or online at lindbacklumber.com. You'll find a large selection of millwork, decking, and lumber, and a very knowledgeable and helpful staff. Since 1930, Lindback Lumber, quality lumber, and personalized service.
A manager relies on a series of signs to send his message to the players on the field. Your business needs more than hand signals to get its message out. That's why business leaders throughout the area rely on Tubart Group. From the initial design to final installation, their knowledgeable staff can show you the most creative solutions to fit your needs and your budget. So call the pros the Huskies use. The design experts at Tubart Group at 206-223-1122 or log on to www.tubart.com.
We go to the top of the 8th. The Huskies in front of the Cougars 4-3 here in the finale of this 3-game set in Pullman. Steve Sandmeyer with you. Glad you could join us for Husky baseball on AM 1150 KKNW. 853 the announced attendance today, and we're all cozy in that home plate area in and around the baselines. A really nice crowd all packed in here, the chairback seats in Bailey Brayton Field. Joe Meggs will lead things off in the top of the 8th against Paris Shuey. There is a defensive replacement for the Cougars, as Tommy Richards is out at second base and Bartlett moving back to short. First pitch swinging. Meggs will lift it high and shallow to right center. It'll be the center fielder Johnson coming over to make the catch, and there's 1 pitch, 1 down here in the Husky 8th. That'll bring up Jacob Lamb. Lamb was victimized on a great play in foul territory by, at the time, the second baseman Bartlett, who's now over at short, back in the 6th. He walked, stole a base, and scored in the 5th. Popped up and struck out another couple times. He's 0 for 3. This first pitch is chopped foul outside the bag at first, and the count goes to 0-1 on Jacob Lamb. 4 runs, 13 hits, 3 errors for the Huskies, 3 runs, 4 hits, and 1 error for the Cougars. A couple of stories developing in this one here in the top of the 8th. Shuey from the bell. Here's the 0-1, and that's again chopped foul outside the bag at first, and the count goes to 0-2. 1. Jacob Clem coming out of the bullpen. He allowed an unearned run in the 3rd, but has gone 13 consecutive in order since the end of the 3rd inning to this point. He's the pitcher of record. Here's the 0-2. Check swing. Did he go? Appeal made? No, he didn't. They won't even bother the appeal. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The other story being that Willie Reel in his first conference at bat, the pinch hit RBI single with 2 down in the 7th to give the Huskies the lead. Here comes the 1-2 on the way, and that's down and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And again, Reel, how many times am I going to do that today? Moving around the 3rd and trying to score all the way from second on an infield single, was thrown out of the plate on a play that he beat the throw but didn't touch the plate. Here's the 2-2. That's down and in, and Lamb now has worked the count full. Nice work by Jacob. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And was out for the final out of the 7th, but the Huskies did get the run in, and they've got the lead 4-3 here with 1 out in the top of the 8th. Full count to Lamb. Here's the stretch by Shuey. And the payoff pitch. Swing, and that one's hit out to second. It'll be collected there by Richards, who just entered the game moments ago, and he'll throw him out. And there's 2 down here in the top of the 8th. Elsewhere in Pac-10 play, bottom of the 8th in Berkeley, Oregon and Cal tied at 4 apiece. That's the rubber match. The team splitting the first 2. In Tucson, Arizona has rallied. They lead USC 6-5, top of the 8th. Arizona looking for the sweep there. Arizona State all over Stanford 7-1. That's going to the top of the 9th in Tempe. Those 2 teams splitting the first 2. First pitch on the way to Troy Scott, missing down low for ball 1. And UCLA leading Oregon State 1-0 in the bottom of the 5th as the Bruins try and salvage one of those 3 against the Beavers. Here comes the 1-0. Swing and a miss, and the count evens at a ball and a strike. One ball and 1 strike the count. 2 down, nobody on. Here's a pitch to Scott. Swing and a miss. Kind of waved at a slider down and away. And the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down, nobody on, top of the 8th. Here's the pitch on the way, and that's down low. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A sun-drenched crowd here in Pullman. When you get near 60 degrees here in May, you're going to get a lot of T-shirts, shorts, and flip-flops. Here's the 2-2. And strike 3 called. I think Scott knew it. Side retired. Huskies go in order here in the 8th, 1, 2, 3. But after 7.5, as we go to the bottom of the 8th, it's still the Dogs 4, the Cougs 3.
We all need advice sometimes. When it comes to your vision, talk to people who've been there. They'll point you to UW Medicine Eye Institute at Harborview, like Dave Larson, whose glaucoma was caught and treated early, or Monica Lowe, who thanks to refractive surgery can finally see without glasses. People across our region trust their vision to the UW Medicine Eye Institute, UW Medicine Health System. From here, we change the world. Request an appointment and read more stories at uwmedicine.org/stories.
As you enjoy baseball season, think about the game that is life. Are you in shape financially to play beyond the 5th inning? What would happen if your life went into extra innings? At Edward Jones, we have a lineup of financial solutions to help you through the game of life. Tax advantage investments to increase retirement savings in the case of extra innings. Long-term care insurance to help with some of life's errors. And life insurance to prepare for the final tally.
To learn more, call All Century team member Dwayne Covey at 206-524-0050. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
We go to the bottom of the 8th here in an interesting rubber match of a 3-game series between the Huskies and the Cougars here from Bailey Brayton Field in Pullman. Washington State taking the first 2 in this series, but the Huskies leading 4-3 in the finale of this 3-game set as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Husky reliever Jacob Clem out of Burlington Edison High School. The senior has retired his last 13 in a row out of the Husky bullpen, and he'll face the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the Cougar lineup. It'll be left fielder Patrick Clausen, followed by right fielder Derek Jones, and first baseman Taylor Ard. Here's the first pitch on the way by Clem. It's a slider outside for ball 1. Clausen reached on an error and scored in the 3rd, also popped up and was caught looking, so he's 0 for 3 today with a run scored. 4-3 Dogs as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Here's the wind and the 1-0. Ground ball, base hit, right side. So the streak snapped at 13, and the Cougars have the tying run aboard here to lead off the bottom of the 8th. Clean ground ball single past Peterson at first, and after 13 in a row retired by Clem, the streak snapped by Clausen, who hits a ground ball single and represents the tying run. 4-3 game. There is activity in the Husky bullpen. Without being able to tell who it is, I can guess that it's Adam Simber, who has not appeared in either of these 2 games, a right-hander warming up. kind of shielded by that chain link fencing down the right field line. I can see a right-hander getting loose in the Husky bullpen beyond the right field line. Turn in a throw to first, and back to the bag is Clausen. So here's Derek Jones, the right fielder. 4-3 game here in the bottom of the 8th. Huskies in front, but the Cougars with the tying run on base at first after the ground ball single by Clausen. That ended a streak of 13 in a row retired by Clem. Here's a stretch by Jacob and another turn and a throw to first. And again, Clausen diving back to the bag. It's only the 5th hit of the day by Washington State, and now Lindsey Meggs wants time, and he's going to go talk with Jacob right now. Not sure if he's got a hook with him or bringing a little strategy in, see exactly how much Clem has left in the tank. 4 runs, 13 hits, 3 errors for the Huskies. 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Cougars. And after the ball game today, they're going to get on the bus and make the long drive home this afternoon and tonight. Head out to class for the week and then leave for Palo Alto for a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series at Stanford. It's been a long week on the road for this baseball team. They had an early week 2-game series with Gonzaga that was rained out both days, so they had to sit and wait. Finally get underway on Friday, losing 5-2 to the Cougars in Game 1. Yesterday, a flat performance in an 11-6 loss. But now holding on to that 4-3 lead with the Cougars hitting and the tying run at first. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th. And Jones the hitter. Here's the stretch by Clem. Long hesitation and the pitch on the way outside, ball 1. Scott defensively even with the bag at third. Lamb, who moved over to short, is almost behind the bag at second, and Reel deep at his second base post on the right side defensively. Clausen off the bag at first. Here's the pitch, and that's outside, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes to Derek Jones. Jones 0 for 3 today after a mammoth day yesterday, in which he went 4 for 5 with 2 runs batted in and 2 runs scored. 2-0 the count in his favor. Clem ready to go. The stretch and the 2-0 popped up a mile high. This is going to be shallow center. Battling the sun is Gardner Young. He's got a glove underneath it and makes the catch. And there's one down here in the bottom of the 8th. So Clem, after allowing his first base runner in 14 at-bats, gets the next one to fly out to shallow center. By no means out of the woods. He's got the cleanup hitter Taylor Ard to contend with 1 out and 1 on here in the bottom of the 8th. Ard is only 1 for 3, but he's got a couple of runs batted in today. He singled in a run in the first. A ground out produced another run in the third, and he struck out swinging back in the 5th, one of 5 strikeouts recorded by Clem in this extended relief stint out of the bullpen. A turn and a throw to first. And back to the bag is Clausen. Clem came on in the third after both went just 2, and Clem did allow a run, but it was unearned back in the third, and then went on that roll of 13 straight before the single by Clausen to lead it off here in the bottom of the 8th. Here's the 1 pitch, out pitch, grounded out to short, might be 2. Lamb to second for 1. Real relay to first in time. 6-4-3. Inning-ending double play, and Clem does it again as the Huskies keep the Cougars off the board in the bottom of the 8th. We go to the 9th after 8 completed Pullman. It's the Washington Huskies 4 and the Washington State Cougars 3.
Are you thinking that old mower of yours just won't cut it this year? Then call the pros at Aurora Lawnmower. They specialize in small gas engine repair, including tune-ups and blade sharpening. Your mower will look and act like new for a fraction of the cost. They also sell state-of-the-art equipment and new brands like Toro, Snapper, Honda, and Steel. For 40 years of unbeatable value, call 206-783-0200 or drop by. They're just 1.5 blocks north of Green Lake. Aurora Lawnmower, on the cutting edge of technology.
When my roof needed repairs, I didn't know where to turn. With so many roofing companies, how could I choose? Then a friend told me about MCR Roofing. She said they offer top-notch service at an affordable price. They use eco-friendly solutions and provide pressure washing, roof maintenance, gutter cleaning, leak repairs, and skylight installation. She also said they do general remodeling, including kitchens, bathrooms, and additions. I'm glad I chose MCR Roofing. You will be too. Find out more at badroofnomore.com.
Top of the ninth from Pullman. Huskies in front 4-3. Washington looking to get an insurance run or two perhaps in this contest in the third and final game here from Pullman over the weekend. It'll be the closer, Paris Shuey, continuing on his stint here after coming on in the 8th. And he will face 5, 6, and 7 due up in the Husky order. Right fielder Chase Anselman's, catcher B.K. Santee, and first baseman Eric Peterson. Here's the first pitch by Shuey to Anselman, and it's a fastball upstairs for ball 1. Paris Shuey, 8 saves on the year, but obviously not one here. He's trailing 4-3. And a 1-0 count. Pitch on the way, slider down and away, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Anselman's on the afternoon is 0 for 4. But he struck the ball well, lined out to left, lined out to right, then a couple of groundouts. Looking to join the party with a count 2-0 in his favor. Pitch is chopped outside the bag at first, foul. The count moves to 2-1. Santee on deck. Huskies get through with 1 in the 7th on a 2-out run-scoring single by Willie Reel that scored Ryan Wiggins. And that's the score by which they lead, 4-3 here in the 9th. Looking for more in the top half of the frame. Here's the stretch. And the 2-1. And that's again hit foul outside the bag at first, and the count evens at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cougars got 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third. Huskies got 1 in the first, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, and 1 in the 7th. Here's the 2-2. Check swing. Did he go? Appeal made down to third base, and Joe Maiden says nope. Arms extended to the side, and the count goes full on Anselman to lead off the 9th. 3 balls, 2 strikes. They're going to the bottom of the 9th in Berkeley. Cal and Oregon tied at 4 apiece in the rubber match of that 3-game series. Here's the stretch and the payoff pitch, and this is hit foul up and out of play by Anselman. And we will re-rack and break again. Arizona leading USC 6-5 in Tucson, top of the 8th. Wildcats winning the first 2 in that series yesterday by a score of 20-4. Here's another payoff pitch on the way to Anselman, and that's high and inside, ball 4. And the Huskies have the leadoff man on here in the top of the 9th, looking to cushion that 1-run advantage, 4-3. So that brings up the catcher, B.K. Santee. It has gone final in Tempe. Arizona State defeating Stanford by a final of 7-1. So the Sun Devils take 2 of 3 against the Cardinal, and in the process improve to 13-5 in the Pac-10, all alone in second place. Stanford falling to 6-9. Santee, first pitch laying the bunt down, bobbled by Shuey, but will gather it and throw him out in time. Down to second goes Anselman on the sacrifice bunt by B.K. Santee, put out 1-3, and the Huskies have another runner in position with 1 down here in the top of the 9th. And that brings up Eric Peterson.
Number 25, Eric Peterson.
Peterson is 3 for 4 today. Singled, stole a base in the 4th, singled in the 5th, doubled in the 7th. And he's on with a runner on second, Anselman, and only 1 down. Pitch on the way, and this one's lifted to left field, fairly deep, now ranging over toward the line is the left fielder Clausen, and he makes the catch. So one pitch out there, and now two down here in the top of the ninth with a runner still on second in the form of Anselman. And that brings up Ryan Wiggins.
The designated hitter, number 38, Ryan Wiggins.
Wiggins, nice piece of hitting off the reliever Drobnik in the seventh. He singled and came around to score the go-ahead run on the single by Reel. Wiggins originally was going to face the left-hander Jackson, but Johnny Marbut bought Drobnik in, and Wiggins still responded with the like side right-handed pitcher and rifled one into right field, and he came around to score the go-ahead run. Here's the pitch on the way to Wiggins, and that's ripped up the middle into center field. Rounding third and coming in to score is Anselman. The throw is up the line, and the Dogs have an insurance run. It's now the Huskies 5 and the Cougars 3. Beautifully done by Wiggins, who's had two great at-bats late in this game. So the Huskies get a big insurance run as Wiggins goes back through the box, and Anselman scores from second. For Wiggins, 2 hits and 2 at-bats, and RBI number 5 on the season. And the Huskies now have a little bit more breathing room, leading at 5-3 here in the top of the ninth. And here's Willie Reel. Pitch on the way to Reel, and this is hit foul up and out of play over the first base dugout. Reel, last time up, had the big hit on a 2-out opposite field single to right center that scored Ryan Wiggins to give the Huskies the lead in his first Pac-10 at bat. Here's the 0-1 on the way, and this is again hit foul out of play over the first base dugout, and Reel behind at 0-2. He was then thrown out on an infield single by Brendan Gardner-Young. He tried to score all the way from second, and to his credit, he beat the throw, but didn't tag the plate as Ponciano had to go wide to get the throw, and it kind of knocked Reel off his route to the plate, and then they had to try and both leap at the plate at the same time, and Ponciano got there with a tag before Reel could touch it as the 0-2 pitch drifts high and away for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So Willie 1 for 1 with that RBI single. That at-bat did not start well as on a pitch in the dirt tried to get the bunt down, and Peterson got hung up on the squeeze attempt between third and home, but he rifled a pitch into right center as this 1-2 pitch is again hit foul up and out of play. 5-3 is the run-scoring single by Wiggins scored to Anselman here in the top of the ninth. Huskies 14 hits on the afternoon. And there is double-barreled action in the Husky bullpen. Clem will be given an opportunity to come out here in the ninth, or whether Simber, who has not appeared in this series yet, will get the ball. We'll see. Wiggins the lead off the bag at first, and time is called. Huskies 1 in the first, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, 1 in the seventh, and now 1 more here in the top of the ninth. They lead at 5-3. 1 ball, 2 strike count, 2 down to Reel. Wiggins off the bag at first. Reel, right-handed bat. Here's the stretch and the pitch on the way. And that's down and in, ball 2. And after falling behind at 0-2, Reel has battled even, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Huskies trailed this game early, 3-1, but scored 4 unanswered and now lead it in the ninth 5-3. Here's the stretch. Shuey's pitch on the way to Reel. This one's hit to right field and fairly deep. Back on the ball is Jones. He'll camp underneath it, shielding himself. Can't get to it. He might have lost it in the sun. That's going to bounce over his head and all the way up against the wall. Rounding third is Wiggins. He will come in to score, and Reel's going to motor all the way into third base. And the Huskies get another one on the board. It's now the Huskies 6 and the Cougars 3. Jones went back on the ball and seemed to have lost it in the sun, and at the last minute kind of lurched backward to dive for it. And I'm not sure. I believe they will credit Reel with the triple. I don't think he ever made contact with his glove. We'll wait and see. But 2 are in here in the top of the ninth, and it's now a 6-3 game. Willie gave it a ride, and Jones couldn't find it as the pitch on the way to Gardner-Young is fouled straight back. 0-1 the count. Big insurance runs here in the top of the ninth for the Huskies. Here's the stretch. And the 0-1 on the way. And that's grounded to the right side. It'll be picked up by Richards. He'll make the throw in time. Side retired, but the Huskies get 2 here in the ninth. And as we go to the bottom of the frame, last call for the Cougs. Dogs trying to salvage one of the 3. As we head to the bottom of the ninth, it's Washington 6 and Washington State 3.
Lewis, my last text message asked if you were getting my text, and you texted back no.
Strange times, Clark.
I sent you a link to Horizon Air and AlaskaAir.com.
As long as you're not asking to friend me.
There are all sorts of interesting things there. Can you guess how many miles you get just for signing up for the mileage plan?
7.
500.
Close.
And guess how many flights Horizon and Alaska have out of Seattle?
7.
I'll give you a hint. More than any other airline.
7.
More than 200. And how many cities Alaska and Horizon fly to nonstop from Seattle?
Not 7.
I have no idea, but I'll bet I could find it online.
You do that, and then go to iwishclarkwouldshutupnow.com.
Once I have the answer, I'll text it to you.
Text this, Clark.
Lewis?
Join the Alaska Airlines mileage plan and earn generous miles towards free worldwide travel on Alaska, Horizon, and our many mileage plan partners. Sign up today at alaskaair.com.
We go to the bottom of the ninth here at Bailey Brayton Field. Huskies in front 6-3 in the finale of this 3-game series. Jacob Clem will start the ninth on the mound. Beginning his 7th inning of work as he came on in the 3rd for Austin Voth, and he's the pitcher of record. By the way, the official scoring decision on Reel's hit to right is a triple. So Willie Reel, a triple, and a run batted in. First pitch on the way, lined into right field by Argyropoulos for a base hit. So the first pitch here in the bottom of the ninth, a sharp single to right by Matt Argyropoulos, the Cougar third baseman. And boy, oh boy, do those insurance runs look big now. As the Huskies got 2 in the top of the ninth on a Wiggins RBI single and a Real RBI triple on a ball that Jones lost in the sun in front of the track in right on a ball that carried off the bat of Willie Reel. So now the leadoff man on Argyropoulos, and here's Jay Ponciano, the Cougar catcher. 6-3 Dogs. We're in the bottom of the ninth, and Clem out for his 7th inning of work. Pitch on the way is outside, ball 1. Jacob Clem coming on in the 3rd, allowing an unearned run. And then getting 13 in a row before a leadoff single in the 8th by Clausen. Still on and is the pitcher of record in a 6-3 Husky lead. Here's the 1-0, and that one's at the letters. Strike 1 called on Ponciano. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Ponciano on the day is 0 for 3. A strikeout. He reached on catcher's interference and also a flyout. They're not holding on Argyropoulos with a 3-run lead here in the bottom of the ninth. Husky defense all back. Here's a stretch by Clem in the 1-1. And that's hit out to second, might be 2. Reel will underhand shuffle to Lamb. The relay to first is in time. And the Cougars are down to their last out. 4-6-3. Twin killing. Beautifully done. As Reel, who entered the game, has already taken part in 2 double plays. And Lamb, who moved from second to short and involved in his second double play, the shortstop post. Those two kind of exchanging a quick smile and a brief chat. One a 6-4-3, one a 4-6-3. One ending the 8th, and this one to put the Cougars down to their final out of the night. And the batter will be the designated hitter, Brett Jacobs. Here's the wind by Clem, and the pitch on the way is a slider a little bit outside, ball 1. So certainly the storylines in the game. Jacob Clem, 6 2/3 to this point, allowing just 1 unearned run, and at one point getting 13 in a row. As the 1-0 pitch is grounded at third, Scott will field it on a couple of hops, make the long throw, and it pulls Peterson off the bag. So safe at first is Jacobs, and this will be a game I think Troy would like to forget. That is his 3rd error today And to put it into perspective, how rare that is, Scott committed only 6 errors all season long at third, and he commits his 3rd miscue today. And the Cougars still alive here with 2 out in the bottom of the 9th. As Jacobs is on at first on the error by third baseman Troy Scott. All of them throwing errors. We got a pinch hitter in for Richards in the 8-hole for Washington State. It'll be Colin Slaybaugh, who played in center field yesterday. Pitch on the way to Slaybaugh, and that's outside for ball 1. So Slaybaugh, the pinch hitter here in the 9th. Huskies looking for that final out in a 6-3 ball game, trying to salvage one of these 3 after losing the first 2, 5-2 and 11-6 respectively. Jacobs will lead off the bag at first. Here's the 1-0 by Clem to Slaybaugh, and that's chopped foul at the plate. Count evens at a ball and a strike. Again, Willie Reel, the story late. Jacob Clem, the story ever since coming in to start the 3rd inning in relief of Austin Voth. And the Huskies on 6 runs and 15 hits, lead it 6-3 with 2 out in the bottom of the 9th. Takes away the sting of the 4 errors on the board for the Dogs. Here comes the 1-1, and that's on the outside corner, strike 2, and Clem has the Cougars down to the final strike here in the bottom of the 9th. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down, bottom of the 9th. A runner on for the Cougars, but the Huskies trying to close out game 3 and win their 4th conference game of the season. Clem, who has been on since the start of the 3rd, ready to close it out. Here's the stretch. And Jacobs' 1-2 pitch on the way. Ground ball in the hole between short and third into left field. So the Cougars will bring the tying run to the plate. And they're going to take the bat away from Johnson. Down to second goes Jacobs, and over to first goes the pinch hitter Slaybaugh, who, on a nice piece of hitting, goes the other way. So here's Adam Nelbowich, who appeared as a designated hitter earlier in this series. He'll pinch hit for Johnson with 2 down and 2 on here in the bottom of the 9th. Nelbowich, a left-handed hitter, a 171 average, no home runs, 4 batted in. Here's the stretch by Clem, and the pitch on the way, and that's down the line to left field, going to get all the way to the corner. Here comes Jacobs, he'll score from second. They're waving on Slaybaugh from first, he will score, and we've got a 1-run game. And sliding in at second base with a 2-out, 2-run double is Nelbowich, who represents the tying run. It is now the Huskies 6 and the Cougars 5. Oh my goodness. And now everyone on their feet here at Bailey Brayton Field with 2 out in the bottom of the 9th. Those are unearned runs that came in to score, and Lindsey Megg's going to come out of the dugout, and I think he's got a hook with him. That turns the lineup over. It'll be Bartlett, and Meggs will make the change with 2 out in the 9th. Don't go anywhere. 2-out, 2-run double by pinch hitter Adam Nelbowich. And we got a 1-run game, and the tying run in position at second. Here comes Adam Simber, the Husky closer. 2 out in the 9th. Huskies lead it 6-5. It is not Ben. And as Kane comes in to try and get the final out in this game with a 6-5 lead, we'll take this 60-second timeout.
Everyone wants to be healthy. Your friends at General Nutrition Center in Victoria Mall, Bellevue can help. They offer a wide variety of products for a healthy lifestyle. Whatever your goal is, bring it to GNC in Victoria Mall. Their staff is friendly and knowledgeable and will help you find the right products to suit your budget, your lifestyle, and your healthcare needs. Ask about their membership program and save 20% all year long. That's GNC at Victoria Mall in Bellevue. Proud Husky supporters.
This is Alternative Talk, 1150 AM, KKNW Seattle, and KLCK FM 98.9, Digital HD3 Seattle.
Neighbors are great sources of advice. It's no different when it comes to your health. You just need to talk to the right neighbor. Like your UW Neighborhood Clinic. part of the UW Medicine Health System. Take it from Steph Walker, breathes easier without the bronchitis. Or the Renoir family, whose girls have their annual checkup every November. You'll find 7 UW neighborhood clinics across the Puget Sound region. UW Medicine Health System. From here, we change the world. Read more stories at uwmedicine.org/stories.
Well, here we go. Bottom of the ninth, and those 2 runs the Huskies scored in the top half of the frame coming in awfully handy. Those insurance runs proved to be key insurance at that, as the Cougars have scored twice here in the bottom of the ninth, and now it's a 6-5 game. So the right-handed freshman Tyler Kane on in relief, and it'll be the top of the Cougar order, Cody Bartlett, who is now at shortstop, began the game at second base. Nelbowich, a pinch hit double that scored both Jacobs and Slayball on at second, representing the tying run. 2 unearned runs here with 2 out in the bottom of the ninth in a 6-5 game. Kane, the right-hander, and he is ready to go on in relief of Clem. And the first pitch on the way to Bartlett, out of the stretch by Tyler. Long hesitation. The pitch on the way is low and outside for ball 1. 6-5. Huskies holding on for dear life here in the ninth. They scored twice in the top half of the frame. The Cougars on a 2-out opposite field double by pinch hitter Adam Nelbowich have scored 2 in the bottom. And the tying run on at second, Nelbowich after the 2-run double. 1 ball, no strikes to count to Bartlett. Here's a stretch by Kane. The look to second. And Tyler's 1-0 pitch on the way to Bartlett is low, ball 2. Kane coming in at 1-2 with an ERA of 3.77. His 20th appearance of the year. In 31 innings has allowed 29 hits, has only walked 7, and is fanned at 19. Opponents hitting .274 off Kane. Adam Simber continues to warm up in the Husky bullpen. Both Simber and Kane came out of the pen, and it was Kane getting the call here in the bottom of the ninth with 2 down. 2-0 count to Bartlett. Bartlett today, 1 for 4. He doubled and scored way back in the first. Nelbowich, the lead off the bag at second. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to the left side. It's picked up by Scott. The backhand. The throw is low, but dug out by Peterson. And there's your ball game. Troy Scott backhanding it at third and one-hopping the first baseman Peterson, but he gets it. And this ball game is over. Scott, who committed 3 errors today with a game on the line, backhands it at third on the ground ball. Throws low, but Peterson there to get the 1-hop, and the Dogs are going to get out of Dodge with at least 1 in the bucket. Final score, Huskies 6, Cougars 5. It wasn't easy, a roller coaster ride, but the Dogs at the very minimum salvage 1 of 3 here at Bailey Brayton Field, a final of 6-5. That is one huge sigh of relief by the Husky baseball team as the 2 teams exchange handshakes at the end of this series. Washington State does take 2 of 3, winning on Friday by a final of 5-2 and winning yesterday by a score of 11-6. But the Dogs, despite giving up 2 in the bottom of the ninth, unearned, come up with a victory and win it by a final score of 6-5. And Troy Scott, well, he can afford to smile here as the Dogs get it done. He puts the final out in the book. It was a low throw, but it was dug out by Peterson, and that will do it. 6-15-4, the line for the Huskies. 5-8-1 for the Cougars. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back to wrap it up. Take a look at the box score postgame with a final score. Huskies 6, Cougars 5. Postgame coming up in a moment. You're listening to Husky Baseball on IMG College.
If your attic or crawl space has been damaged by smoke, water, mold, or rodents, the last thing you want to do is crawl around trying to clean it up. So call Clean Crawls. We specialize in crawl space cleanups for commercial and residential accounts. Whether it's lower crawls or attics, we feature insulation removal and installation, vapor barrier removal and replacement, and odor elimination and sanitizing. Let us know how we can help you. Find us online at cleancrawl.com.
Pioneer Radio and Sports would like to thank the following businesses who are committed to customer service.
Today's Huskies broadcast is brought to you in part by James G. Murphy Company. See them on the web at murphyauction.com. By MCR Roofing. Bad roof? No more. By Emerald Cove Catering Company. Turn off the stove and call the Cove. By Clean Crawls. Excellence in serving people. And by Cedar Ridge Materials Incorporated. Spreading rock one driveway at a time.
Petra Mediterranean Bistro invites you to enjoy the ultimate in Mediterranean dining and cuisine. Our mission is to offer our guests an exquisite dining experience with an extensive variety of appetizers, authentic dishes, and our house-made specialties. Whether it's for lunch, dinner, or dessert, come discover the authentic taste of Jordan, Lebanon, Greece, Turkey, and Northern Africa right here in Seattle at 2501 4th Avenue. For reservations or catering information, call 206-728-5389 or see us at petrabistro.com.
Have you heard the saying, we don't do windows? Well, at Charlie's Window Cleaning, we do what you don't want it to. Windows. Inside and outside, we're your clear choice for quality residential and commercial window cleaning, roof and gutter cleaning, and pressure washing. In fact, our highest priority is providing you with sparkling customer service. Find us online at charlieswindowcleaning.com and look for our ad in the home bag.
Well, it did not come easy, that's for certain, but the Huskies did salvage one of the 3 games here over the weekend in Pullman against Washington State. A final score this afternoon of 6-5. The Huskies get 6 runs, 15 hits, commit 4 errors. Cougars 5 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error. Plenty of subplots in this game, and of course, the irony, the luck would have it that Troy Scott, who just had an awful day in the field to his standards. Here's a kid who made 6 errors all year long. He commits 3 in one game, and with a game on the line, he gets a shot down to third. He backhands it, and after committing 3 throwing errors, he sure wasn't going to airmail this one. He bounced it into first, but Eric Peterson was there to take the easy one-hop and retire the game. That's one of the stories. The other being that of Jacob Clem. Clem picks up the victory in relief. He goes 6 2/3. Allows 4 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts. 3 of the runs Clem allowed, none of them earned. In addition to Willie Reel providing the late offense that enabled the Huskies to win the game. A pinch hit RBI single in the 7th, and then a 2-run triple, or I should say a run-scoring triple in the 9th after Wiggins singled a home run himself, and those 2 runs came up enormous as the insurance runs were certainly put to work as the Cougars scored 2 in the bottom of the 9th, and the Huskies hold on for the 6-5 win. Steve Sandmeyer back here at Bailey Brayton Field in Pullman on the 1st of May, and it's a good day for the Dogs as they win their 4th Pac-10 game of the year against 11 losses. Washington State falling to 5-13 with a loss here. The win going to Jacob Clem. Clem going to 3-4 on the year, and again continuing to pitch himself potentially back into a starting role in this rotation over the weekend, a role that he had before suffering a groin injury at the start of April, and it caused him to miss about 3 weeks. He's been outstanding out of the bullpen, both on Friday, in which he went 7 up and 7 down, and today, since coming on in the 3rd and at one point retiring 13 in a row. So Clem wins, he goes to 3-4. Drobnik, the redshirt sophomore, takes the loss. He falls to 0-1. And how about Tyler Kane picking up his first save, the freshman getting it done, coming on and inducing the ground ball out to the leadoff hitter, Cody Bartlett. Huskies 6 runs, 15 hits, 4 errors. Cougars 5 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error. And the Dogs get 1 in the 1st, 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 1 in the 7th, and 2 big ones it turned out to be in the 9th. Cougars get 1 run in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and then they're 2 in the 9th for their 5. This ball game this afternoon took exactly 3 hours in length in front of an announced attendance of 853. Good crowd here again today in Pullman as the Dogs get it done at 6-5 the final. Austin Voth got the start, went just 2 innings, allowed 4 hits, 2 earned runs, no walks, struck out 3, but on a Sunday afternoon afternoon with a bullpen ready to go. Lindsey Meggs didn't waste any time. Same story for Donnie Marbut for the most part, as his starter, James Wise, only goes 3 2/3, allows 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Paris Shuey, the closer, giving up the runs late, 2 2/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. As again, the Huskies just battling all the way through and pretty much through its roster. They got deep in the bullpen, they got deep on the bench, and they ended up scoring some big runs late in this one to win it by a final of 6-5. Some of the hitting stars in the game, Joe Meggs did it again. He goes 3 for 5 today. Meggs collecting 3 hits in all 3 games. He goes 3 for 4 on Friday. He goes 3 for 5 yesterday. He goes 3 for 5 today. How about that? 9 hits on the series for Husky left fielder Joe Meggs. He was one of 4 Huskies to get into at least multiple hit games today. Eric Peterson, a nice 3 for 5 day at the plate. The Husky first baseman, in addition to Ryan Wiggins off the bench, 2 for 2 with a couple runs scored and a run batted in. And, of course, Willie Reel, 2 for 2 with an RBI single and an RBI triple coming in late. BK Santee, 2 for 4 with a run batted in. Don't want to forget him as well, as he had a nice series from the dish also. No Cougar gets a multiple hit game today. Washington State able to collect 8 hits in their 9 at-bats. Big hit in the game, a couple of them. Taylor Ard got 1 for 4 with 2 runs batted in, 1 on an RBI single, 1 on an RBI groundout. Brett Jacobs, the DH, hit a solo home run in this game. That was back in the second. Outside of that, Huskies doing a decent job. Adam Nelbowich, clearly the big hit with that pinch hit 2-run double in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs. Those were unearned runs that came in to score, but they count nonetheless. And at that point, the Cougars had the tying run on at second base, and the leadoff hitter Cody Bartlett up, but Tyler Kane comes on and induces the ground ball out to third, and Tyler picks up his first save of the season, and the Huskies get it done, a final of 6-5. That was a wild one today. There's no doubt about it. 6-15-4 for the Huskies, 5-8-1 for the Cougars, as boy, that insurance run or 2 late coming into play in a big, big way for the gang in purple and gray. Still, the Huskies lose 2 of 3, but boy, you have to feel better. A, avoiding the sweep, and B, for the second straight weekend, at least garnering the final game of that 3-game series. They did it last weekend against USC. They do it this weekend on the road in Pullman. Huskies game next up will be against Stanford, coming up from Sunken Diamond on Friday. They're going to play the Friday, Saturday, Sunday series down in Palo Alto. We will not be on the air from Palo Alto, but you can, of course, follow on GoHuskies.com and get the live links there based on what the Huskies do down in Stanford against the Cardinal coming up this weekend. Our next games over the airwaves will be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday the following on the 13th, 14th, and 15th of May, as the Huskies welcome Oregon State, the conference leader, to Seattle. It won't be to Husky Ballpark exclusively, because the first game of that series on Friday the 13th will be at Safeco Field. For ticket information, call 206-543-2200 or get online, GoHuskies.com, as Washington's next home game will be against Oregon State coming up on May 13th at Safeco Field. Great opportunity there to let the college kids play at the big league ballpark. And then, of course, the remaining 2 games of that series will be at Husky Ballpark. All 3 of those games, Washington hosting Oregon State, will be here on AM 1150 KKNW with myself and Gary Hill. That does it here from Bailey Brayton Field in Pullman. A wild 3rd game of this 3-game series, and after the Huskies dropped the first 2 against the Cougars, they do salvage 1 this afternoon in wild fashion. A final score in NCAA Pac-10 baseball: the Washington Huskies 6 and the Washington State Cougars 5. You've been listening to an exclusive presentation of the Husky Baseball Network on IMG College.